chat member Cam Bam. Oh, hi, Mark. We are back with series number 2 for the evening. I've got Santos to my left, I guess, or nope, that way. He's over there, and Blue Panda on the other side joining me for this one. It's going to be a fun series tonight. We got First Attempt going up against Visionary. And First Attempt, guys, is actually by round differential no longer in last place after that last series with Synthetic. So no matter how this game goes, they're in 11th. So clap for them, but they're hoping to pick up a couple maps tonight and fix their record up. So how are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. It's a bit hot down here in New Zealand at the moment, so I'm you can't see it. I'm wearing shorts underneath the table, and
Yeah.
so in true Kiwi fashion. So I'm living up to what's going on here. But going into this, it's going to be an interesting one. First Attempt, they're coming into this week. They're still feeling like they're trying to sort out the problems, come together and gel. They haven't quite hit their stride. They have had some moments where they've looked very, very good, but they're just not quite there yet.
I mean, contrary to that, Visionary obviously coming off a very good week in SCS, knocking off the sort of powerhouse that is Wichita Wolves. So, yeah, they're riding a high. I'm expecting them to take the momentum into this matchup. And, yeah, like you said, First Attempt needs to be sort of finding some answers a little bit. But also, I mean, contrary to you in New Zealand, I am actually very cold right now, hence the hoodie. So, yeah, I'm feeling a little chilly right now.
Yeah, I'll trade you the weather, Blue, actually. I will 100% take the hot over the cold right now. I don't know.
Unfortunately, it's like 80-90% humidity here at the moment, so you
Okay,
can have it if you want.
Never mind.
I will
Keep it.
100% trade with you guys. Unfortunately,
No.
where I live, it's a bit of a sink, so we end up with quite high humidity. But going into the next couple of weeks, going into Christmas, it's the best thing about living in New Zealand. Sunny as, off to the beach, that's the plan. Unfortunate today, though. Well, actually, I say unfortunate today. I'm keen to get in today. It's Rainbow Six, it's SCS back again for another week, and I can't wait to get casting.
I was about to say, man, you're about to like hurt me a little bit there, not wanting to be with the crew. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. But to get myself off cam while I do cry, we're gonna go check the team statistics out a little bit, see who we're seeing tonight on cam, or not on cam, but in game, I should say.
So up first, we have First Attempt. Everyone knows this roster just because of how prolific their coach is. Obviously, Stokes and the coaching staff. Actually, they are looking for a co-coach to sort of help them sort of ride this wave. Obviously, they are struggling a little bit this season, minus 21 in round differential, but they have shown moments of greatness. They have shown the ability to sort of take some rounds for themselves, but unfortunately for them, currently not any longer at the bottom of the standings, but pretty close to it nonetheless. And they only have 2 points off of getting some overtime maps. So yeah, they're going to be looking to sort of strengthen up their efforts today, especially against Visionary. They do pretty well to take off some points off this team.
Yeah, I'd 100% agree with that one. I mean, First Attempt, they have really strong players. It's just a matter of sort of coordinating with each other a little bit more, and I think that's what they've been working on here for the past couple of weeks. And it is week number 4. They've had time to come together. They were still a fairly new roster going into the season, so a lot to expect from them tonight. Blue, you have anything to say about them, or do you want to go ahead and switch it on over to Visionary?
I mean, yeah, no, largely for this team, enough has been said. They're just not finding the stride. On the other side of things, Visionary, they've established themselves as a real powerhouse coming into this. They've got some great young gunners. They made a couple of very, very big statements last week. So it's exciting to see how they progress further and further into the season. The way they're going at the moment, they are taking some very, very big maps off people. They're 4-2, so they're currently sitting in 5th, but they are not by any means out of first place contention. They could quite easily finish the season top 3. The fact that they are contesting and stepping up to the teams that they are going against. I mean, Wichita Wolves, they took 2 maps away from them last week. A very, very solid performance out of them. So I'm excited to see what they're bringing this week.
Oh yeah, me as well, because if you guys haven't noticed, actually, Visionary, this is their Canadian roster. But what they did is they actually went through a shift after last week's game, and they picked up a couple of players that make them fully 18 plus. So they are going for contention in CL. So that is going to be an important change going forward. We'll see if the new roster gels a little bit, or if it's going to be the same that we did see and what we've come to expect from Visionary, or if that's going to change. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the standings coming into this week here. So right now we've had a little bit of a change. Synthetic drops down to 12th place after their performance today, and Wichita gets provisional first place. They pick up the extra 6 points on the day, so that is very, very good for them. Only one ahead of Redux Rising, though, so if Redux can pull out a win tomorrow against one of our top teams as well, that's going to be a fun one to watch. I believe it's In Control. Definitely stop in for that as well. And First Attempt, they rise a little bit, actually, back to 11th place here by a round differential. So going into this, they already have upped their standings even just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the standings, there already has been sort of a bridging that has happened. We see Synthetic, First Attempt, Renaissance sort of slip towards the bottom. They're not out of it just yet. There are still a number of weeks ahead of us where they can look to bump themselves up, look to contest for playoffs. But the top three at the moment, yeah, it'd be top five, because they are all sort of bouncing in between Redux, Lycus, In Control, Visionary, and Wichita. I honestly, at this stage, could not call who I think is going to take out that top spot going into the end of the season, because all these teams, week after week, they're stepping up. They're finding these new advantages, these new improvements that are giving them that edge in the competition.
Definitely. And Toast, I'll ask your opinion here in just a moment, looking at these predictions as well. But when you look at these teams, all those top five, they're so close in skill gap. The only team that I would say might have to do a little bit more proving is Redux, just simply because they won their last week's games via forfeits. They haven't had as much experience this season yet in S4 of SCS, but I do believe they are a very strong roster and they have a lot to prove, and they'll be continuing in that stretch. So we'll have to see as time goes on. But Santos, what are your opinions here, man, on these predictions from all of our casters?
I mean, I can't agree more with the visionary outlook this week, just because of how much First Attempt has struggled. But I love the Fermemon prediction from Renaissance. I think that's a great prediction, not gonna lie. I know Redux didn't play last week, so maybe they have to shake off a little bit of rust. I know maybe they could be maybe they're a little bit of a sleeper here. I think Fermemon might be onto something. And hey, that's my face. I didn't pick Renaissance. I picked Redux. But anyway, yeah, I mean, overall, just some standard sort of pickups here. I know you mentioned the standings just a little bit, and I think Pride is another sleeper there. If they can get some sort of structure going, I think they'd be a high contention or a high contender for maybe some playoff wins.
Well, I'll tell you what, they did pick up as a permanent addition to their main roster, the Cali Gunner herself, Mac. And if you've seen any of her clips, she's just nuts. And they put her on Maestro as well, I believe, on defense. So we'll have to see exactly how that's going to play out in the future of this season. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the operator statistics. We really didn't get to talk a lot about that first time through, so we can sort of take a peek here. After almost 400 rounds already, guys. That is unbelievable. This is only the 4th week so far. We're only counting the rounds from week 3 and before, and we've already played 398 of them. This is kind of nuts to me, but still, Zofia and Ash very much up there with that utility meta. Blue, what do you think is going to change, if anything, once the new season drops here in a couple weeks?
I mean, look, I'm super excited coming into the new season. All the changes are looking incredibly good. I'm not sure how I feel about the new operator just yet. I'll have to see her in some more competitive environments. But the changes, it's in the right direction. It's going to speed up play just a little bit. You can just go for that hard aggression, dump all your utility, and by that stage, you will have dealt with a large number of the denial coming out of the defenders, and then you can push the way. I also like the diversification that we're going to be seeing on attacking rosters, given the changes in terms of, secondary utility. Especially like the likes of Dokkaebi, who will be bringing the frag grenades, brings her more into the mainstream, because that logic bomb is actually such a great tool, being able to steal the cameras as well. She has just been lacking a little something, which means she doesn't make her way break through into the mainstream of play. But with that change, I think we could see a lot more of it coming in the next year.
Oh yeah, Blue. I would say that you're definitely correct about that. And I mean, right now the current meta, Siege is definitely defender sided, but we're gonna have Santos talk about the defender side of things here with these operators. And Jaeger himself, not the streamer, but actual Jaeger, is 98% pick rate, and that is just nuts.
I mean, I think that's on course to change with the Jaeger nerf that's coming around. Obviously, the sort of 20-second utility burn meta, whatever you want to call it, I think we could see that change a little bit here with the changes coming to Jaeger. Also, Wamai losing his deployable shield is a big one as well. I think that we're going to see a little bit more action throughout the round as opposed to everything being compressed into the final 20 seconds of a round, which is nice to see. It's definitely going to sort of test some teams in terms of their 1v1 gunfighting just a little bit, and really emphasize the information game, really bring that back to the forefront. And I think we're going to see a rise in pick rate out of these camera-related operators, such as Maestro, such as Valkyrie, maybe even Mute with those bulletproof cams. I think we're in for a big change coming to Siege.
Oh, I think you're onto something there, Toast. I think we are going to be seeing a resurgence of that intel meta, and by proxy, intel denial. That is something that has been so critical in Rainbow Six within the past couple seasons, I would say. It's been a little while now since it's been a thing, but Mute Mozzie is coming back from the days of Burnt Horizon. We're potentially going to see, like you mentioned, that Maestro and the Valkyrie play increase a whole lot, which by proxy means IQ is going to be a big thing again. She's going to be needed to take a lot of those electric gadgets out. So it's going to be very impressive frag potential because all those operators have amazing, weapons on them, but a lot of excitement in as well. So here are the full team statistics coming up so far for season 4. One thing I do want to point out, and we haven't really mentioned yet, is emergence. I don't know if I want to call it this, but I think it's the best terminology I can put it in, but it's almost like a fall from grace. I mean, they were really in that top 3, top 2 position in season 3, and here they are now where Goria is really the only one that's putting in the work right now. So I think there needs to be potentially a reevaluation. What do you guys think?
I mean, I talk at length about this team, Emergence. I've been following them for a good long while now. They have a lot of potential, a phenomenal amount of potential in that team. Goria is an absolute fragging machine. If you give him the intel, give him the room to work, he can 100% turn these rounds on their head, get yourself some big rounds on the board. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the team by any means can step back and play a more supportive role. They need to be up there with him, providing that information. They also need to be contesting as much as possible. And I don't think we're seeing that as much as we would like to. So, yeah, I think there needs to be some improvement. I don't know quite where that needs to come from. The rest of the team have shown they're capable of going absolutely huge and around, but it's less frequently than Goria, and they need to be stepping it up, doing it more often, and fighting as a 5-man unit rather than a 1-man unit in front and then 4 behind.
If I can tag into that question a little bit too, we are seeing, like, as you mentioned, Goria is sort of putting the team on his back and really just sort of carrying Emergence to where they are in the standings. We need to see a little bit of stronger sort of IGL presence. Obviously, Sonafin has been struggling quite a bit. You saw him at the bottom of those of the player sort of standings for the team. I think that that's having an effect on everyone else as well, and you can't really expect Goria to just carry you in that sort of backpack. Eventually, that backpack is going to rip. So I think it would be as you said, some reevaluation needs to happen, maybe some change in the team structure a little bit to give everyone else that sort of opportunity to succeed.
Well, if you guys really like numbers, I'm actually noticing a bit of a correlation here because the average is 1.0. That's where we set our average for good player rating versus, less than average player rating. So when I see a team that has the majority of their players above 1.0, they're taking their round differential lead. But when you have a team like, for example, First Attempt Renaissance or even Emergence, where the majority of their players are below that 1.0, they start dropping rounds. And that's just like you mentioned, Blue, is they're not playing cohesively. They're not working together necessarily. And I think that's some of the biggest thing that you need to expect from T3 is because you might be the best gunner in the world, but if you can't be on a team that is going to enable that and work with you, get your refrag, get the intel, things like that, that's what needs to be done in some cases. But that's just me. That's just on my rant. But I think you guys definitely were backing that up a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just rely on that one-star gunner. There's a team in Oceanic Nationals that they've just qualified for the relegations. They're this one-star player. It's a team called PC419. Shaq, this guy on the team, is phenomenal. Anytime he finds a frag, he's guaranteed to find at least 1 or 2 more. So, yeah, you just can't be relying that he has the support of his team every single opportunity. But I have confirmation that we are about to send it into game, Nash. Unfortunately, got to cut you off there. But, hey I'm super excited to jump into First Attempt. versus Visionary here with you, Santoast. This is going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be a proving ground situation. Can first attempt bring some of that momentum back? The first time we saw them was on Clubhouse. It was with a stand-in. Stokes had to fill in for Jewel, but we don't want to see that repeat performance.
Yeah, I think first attempt, they are with their backs against the wall. I love to say, obviously, you are at your most dangerous when you are at the most defenseless. So I would like to see first attempt have that sort of resurgence. But if I'm going to be completely honest here, I think Visionary is proving to be one of the strongest rosters that we've had in SCS in a while. So I think first attempt has their work cut out for him a little bit. I'm not sure exactly. Exactly how this is going to play out for them. I think this could be they could be in for a beating here, but prove me wrong. First attempt, prove me wrong, please.
Yeah, it's one of the best feelings in the world. Like, as much as you like being right in predictions, as much as you like seeing the team you root for win, I love those upset situations. Prove me wrong. Do it time and time again. I will have a great time casting it. Speaking of upsets, we're going to see a Goyo ban coming out here, taken away by first attempt. So obviously reading into something that Visionary are bringing. It's not something you traditionally see on a map like Clubhouse, but there are some key positions that he can lock down and play very, very effectively.
I saw this a lot last time I watched Clubhouse in SCS, and that's the presence of Goyo to protect the top of red stairs. I think Goyo is one of the best operators you can bring for that point, because obviously you have the protection of the bulletproof shield, but then after that, if you end up feeling a little bit too much pressure, you could blow up the shield, buy yourself some time to rotate back into sight and play those long angles. So yeah, I think the Goyo ban could potentially be smart here. We also see the other TCSG taken off the board. That's going to be Cade, and that really opens up the utility play just a little bit more for the attacking side here. Obviously, you don't have to bring Cali, or you can bring Cali. That has been opened up now, or you can take the Zofia and just sort of blow up the ground where the bandit charges or the mute jammers play. And I think overall I like the Cade ban a lot for sure, but both of the TCSGs off the board. No sniper shotguns out here.
Yeah, coming into this though, it's an interesting approach coming out from Visionary. We know this team. We saw them last week. They came out and made a huge statement. Coming into this, they're making another big statement. We're heading straight to gym bedroom first. You look at these young gunners on the roster. Slasher and Badger, they're both very, very young. If I remember correctly, Slasher's 16, Badger's 15. So they're incredibly capable, incredibly good at what they do. And so it's going to be interesting. What is the change that has been made? It's Jimmy Buckets. He's coming in here. He's going to be fulfilling sort of that SAS role, I would imagine. And on this gym bedroom bomb site, this is a bold choice. They're going here because they want to get this bomb site out of the way first. Then they can coast through basement and CCTV, try and get some more rounds on the board. But if it doesn't work, that's a pretty big round to give away.
We talk about the rotation of different sites a lot. Obviously, you would more likely see a start in CCTV or maybe in the basement if you are defending Clubhouse. So starting up here in the gym bedroom could be a very high risk reward type thing. Obviously, you want to start off on the right foot in terms of momentum. And yeah, I mean, if this net's positive for Visionary, then they're going to be, singing their graces. But if they start losing the momentum here, that is when first attempt have proven to be their most dangerous. And I think we're going to see some early engagements brought out here. Obviously, Casper taking quick control of the bottom floor means that he's going to be able to pressure the people inside of Cash very quickly. And we could see some sort of fast-paced gameplay here from first attempt to try and sort of throw off Visionary quite a little bit.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They need to get those aggressive positions. They need to flush these players out from around Cash, top red, because then they can start that much over. At the moment, it's not looking like there's a huge amount of priority in trying to get that jacuzzi wall open. If they do, it's going to be a hard time anyway, just because of the amount of utility denial that is there, the castle barricade, ADSs, and the magnets. They're going to go for a straightforward push through CCTV, look to clear over this eastern side, and then make their execute. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was a Logi take as well. But at the moment, Casper's below in stock. He's got the information, or at least has an idea of where he thinks they're going to be. Breaching around, prepped and ready. Just a second too late. Not going to be able to tag up the feet. But what is going to be that R4C. Get some decent damage onto Panic. The IGL for the team. Not going to be able to take him down. Those pings are great and all, but if they're just a second too late, the reposition happens. It means this is the result. Jewel goes down. Jimmy Buckets gets another one of his own. Bloomans and Jewel now on the ground. That's a lot of utility already denied.
A lot of utility lost from that Zofia, as well as the crucial frag grenades lost off of Bloomins, and now they're just going to have to take gunfights here, and this is already a tough situation if you find yourself on the team of first attempt. Obviously, you are just sort of flash dumping Slasher and denying his ability to play in red, but you've already lost 2 of your members here trying to push onto Cash. Obviously, you started off the attack very well, but as I say that, Panic able to catch PK on the rotation, and 2v5 scoreline for first attempt, and this attack is looking a little bit disjointed. But as I say that, Casper able to get the kill on the Jimmy, but not before the refrag of Panic. And now it's up to Bait alone in a 1v3 up against Abatu, Badger, and Slasher. And he is taking some of these long-range gunfights, using the 5.56 to his advantage, but he has a double kill on the round, but still a very tall task here if you are Bait.
Yeah, there's only about 20 seconds left. They've got some great operators tonight. Abadu on the Maestro, Slasher on the Whammy, just playing those defensive angles, knowing exactly what their limitations are in the situation. Don't overcommit to a peak. Just jiggle around, waste your time, and Slasher, the young gunner here for Visionary, or at least one of the young gunners, swings out, finds the opening frag, and this is the exact situation that Visionary are looking for. Win the tertiary bomb site. Now you can go down to basement, you can go to CCTV. Those are largely bomb sites that tend to go in favor of the defenders. So from here, they're going to pick up at least 1 more, if not 2. And from there, they can just look to rinse and repeat. Now, it's going to be basement. It's a bomb site that plays incredibly well for the defending lineup. The biggest detriment, I suppose, is the fact that Kate is taken off the board. But with the adaptations that have been made over the last few months, the innovations that have come out from, you know, those high-level players, it's not the biggest loss. You can work around it.
We see the prevalence of impact tricking really shine its light here on this bomb site. And as you mentioned, I don't think the Cade is going to be that big of a loss here. We do see some sort of flexing here from different operators. We see the Maestro off the board, actually. So a little bit of that information gone, but I imagine we're going to be seeing a little bit more of an anchor-heavy lineup and just trying to sort of play into the sort of angles that you have at the bottom of the basement here and sort of play aggressive in that long hallway. I think that is the big strategy behind what Visionary is going to be going for here. Obviously, they see something I don't, Visionary. No?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. They do have some great foresight when it comes to Rainbow Six, but the big thing that I'm seeing lacking at the moment, no of those impacts are going to be on the board. It's going to be a Nitro for 2 of the 5 operators. So this kitchen hatch is going to be freely contestable unless they commit someone to sit on it. So either you go up to Logi, you either sit in kitchen and you look to deny that way, but this could be a very, very contested round here by first attempt. If they can get themselves in, get that vertical advantage, this could be a very, very hard round for Visionary. At the moment, they're heading upstairs, heading up to the roof. They're going to be focusing on droning out, figuring the defensive positions. And with that in mind, when is the execute coming, and will they be able to shut it down on the defender's side?
You do have a little bit of flexibility here with the hard breach, and as I say that, even more flexibility now that Panic is off the board, and they're going to be using one of those thermite charges to put some pressure into dirt, and they still have the Hibana on the board to be able to get those hatches. So overall, very profitable start here from the side of first attempt, able to actually clear out dirt very effectively. And the utility dump we see very effectively here, obviously Casper using those flashbangs as well as his breaching round to just eliminate that shield and really just open up the dirt sort of angle of attack there. And a lot of what the basement defense comes down to is just opening up as many angles as possible and allowing yourself to sort of be able to get some crossfires onto the site. But Jewel here in an engagement, I think that's up against Abadu, the Wamai here. I'm not exactly sure who I saw. No, it's actually going to be Badger with the smoke. So just trying to slow down that dirt attack. Meanwhile, the rest of first attempt should be trying to get these hatches here and open up those angles, as I mentioned.
Yeah, you can already see there's a distinct lack of confidence in some of these engagements. As I say that, Jules going to take it anyway. He opens up dirt. Bloomins with a frag grenade going to find Jimmy buckets. And all of a sudden, in quick succession, they find 2 to add to that initial frag onto Panic. At the moment, they've got the advantage. They've got a huge advantage. It's going to be on Abadu. We've seen him clutch up before. He can't quite find the first. Being sprayed out. He's going to find Casper in the end. Keratos onto the second. Looking for the third. Unfortunately, he won't be able to deny the win. They've just got the angles held, but a very heroic effort going down in the end. I think that could have been a different round if impacts were on the board.
And that could be coming down to just the strategy behind what Visionary had for that round. Obviously, you were pretty heavily stacked towards blue in terms of your utility, but yeah, as you mentioned, the lack of impact tricking I think is the biggest difference maker in that round, because as we saw, the kitchen hatch was just got basically for free. I think they would have done better to sort of play into the impact tricking a little bit, because if they were able to waste a little bit more time and really play in the positions a little bit easier, I think that would have been another round for Visionary. They would have been able to hold those angles and really just limit the push to dirt. But that's a little bit of foresight. That's a little bit of a 2020 afterwards vision. They're going to be headed down or back upstairs to the CCTV and cash room. And it's not as big of a loss to not have Kate on the site. Obviously, he does help, but the prevalence of bandit tricking, we see bait on the thermite, so we could see some bandit tricking action or juggling, depending on what sort of region you're from. And I think first attempt here, proving that they are able to hang with this young gunning squad of Visionary.
Interesting, we see Thermite here prioritized over the ace, which has been let through. It's a little bit more secure, I think. At the end of the day, you have that added safety of not having to stand exactly on the wall. It's an interesting choice. We'll see if it pays out. Obviously, Bait, he's found a couple of frags with it so far, so obviously there's a lot of confidence with it. But you look at the setup, it's not that unexpected given the situation we find ourselves in. The big question, though, is Con wall, that's open. They're going to give up Con for free, it seems. Hopefully they can translate it into some sort of frag, because pushing in there, that's a huge positional advantage. They're going to have to rely on the fact that they need to win those gunfights. Yes, they've got great guns to do it, but if you lose Con, you then risk losing out on cash. From there, it's an easy plant, and the post-plant situation for a team like First Attempt is going to be pretty solid.
Obviously, we see Casper trying to pressure the players inside of Cash and really open up the ability to push into Cons. I really like Casper's positioning here, and it's going to be up to the members of Visionary to really read into this and not forfeit any of the Cash control. But as I say that, some very aggressive gunfighting coming out here from Panics to take out Jewel, and again, that soft destruction off the board, but they are able to get the CCTV wall open. So overall, I think some very positive things coming out here from First Attempt. Unfortunately, you do lose Jewel, which is a very strong gun to lose. Obviously, Zofia, a very prevalent fragger, but overall, I think First Attempt is setting themselves up for victory despite being down a man.
And from there, Panic, he's going to look to rotate up from where he got that initial frag, try and catch out another attacker off guard. If he can do that, he could do some real damage. Casper, we know, is in stock. Running around, he goes to the pre-fire, has an inkling that he might be there. Was droned out as well, so yeah, they knew Panic was down there. There's a lot of time being wasted here. Bloomin's going to kill Badger out. That's the Bandit. That's Nitro Cell off the board. So they are still doing the damage here. They're still ticking away at Visionary on the defense. No guarantees that the win will come. They've got control of Con. This is where the march starts to happen. Push yourself further and further into towards the bomb site. They can contest those aggressive angles from multiple directions. And here we go. They're looking to open up Con. Casper still pressuring from below. Jimmy is just being chipped away at more and more. The sooner they get off the board, better. And First Attempt, this attack is actually looking very, very solid.
Even more solid now that PK is able to get the kill onto Jimmy Buckets, and Abadu, Slasher, and Panic are in good positions here. They were able to rotate back towards the garage, but as you mentioned, they have forfeited the control of Cash. They do have to force Abadu off of the top of red stairs though, and yeah, they're just trying to put some pressure here onto the rafters here to try and prevent them from getting any peek outs towards any potential planting positions here. And the Ying grenades are going to start coming out, and Bait is actually planting the bomb right now. 4 seconds remaining on that plant, and Slasher able to actually win out a gunfight up against PK. Panic to follow, and this is actually becoming a little bit easier of a retake situation here. Casper actually has to finish off the plant, and unfortunately for First Attempt, not able to finish off the plant, and Visionary is going to take advantage of that every single day of the week. And yeah, Visionary with another round win off some questionable planting decisions off of First Attempt.
Yeah, it came down to the wire. All of a sudden, they just didn't have enough room to move. They didn't have the players watching the crossfires, setting up for that defense onto the planter. And it costs you in those situations. You need to have your head on a swivel. You need to be watching the angles, trying to contest so that the plant can go off, give you that much more time to work with. And Casper, he's just happy to be involved. He's probably not one that plants very often. And off the back of that, it's 2-1 now. We're going to be heading back down to the basement. You would imagine there is going to be some changes coming. And I think Maestro will be running those impacts to try and deny that way. Badger picking up the pulse is going to be trying to feed that play off of the nitro cells of himself and the mute. They could do some real damage here. They're not going to give up this bomb site nearly as quickly as they gave up the first attempt the first time.
That's assuming the impact tracking is going to work here from Abadu, and you're only able to deny 2 of the Habana charges, and you still have bait. Obviously, after opening up, Dirt could potentially rotate over and maybe help out with the kitchen take, but yeah, overall, I like the adjustment here. Maybe I would like to see 1 or 2 more sets of impacts, but as I say that, though, you do have Badger there on the pulse, able to feed that sort of information and let you know how many sort of attempts are going to be happening towards that kitchen hatch. So overall, I do like the adjustments here from Visionary. These young guns are definitely minds of the game as well. I do like the fact that I get to cast for SCS just because I do get to see the sort of future of Siege. Maybe we see them in CL, maybe we see them in PL someday. But overall, just some very strong members from both of these teams here. We do have some of the best competing in SCS, and yeah, I think it's going to come down to Visionary. You know, are they going to be playing smart here? Are they going to be able to sort of prevent anything that happens in Dirt? And yeah, overall, I like the adjustments.
Yeah, well, going into this, they're going to get Dirt control super early on. Be able to deal with that, and from here, it's going to be on the shoulders of Slash with that young gunner. Usually we see a bit more out of him on the Zofia. That's when he tends to just pop off and really come online. So he's going to have the job of holding down Dirt. He's got a couple of magnets that he can utilize here at the moment. First attempt, you can see that they're hard focused on this kitchen hatch at the moment. They're walking in Bloomins, just getting ready to try and start opening up that floor. Try and give them that angle. Badger at the moment, though. He's looking for a nitro cell toss into freezer. Bloomins just escaping with his life there. So close, so tenuous. This floor opening is going to be that much harder now. And PK finds the long-range frag through the wall into Bar to take down Panic. And that is their first floor pressure at the moment. They've lost out on a lot of control over this hatch right now. Nades being dropped through the floor. Bloomins, unfortunately, he's taken down. He didn't have long for this world with the amount of health that he did have, but at least they get the pick up. He's going to be a little bit better. Never mind. Jimmy Bucket's there with a nitro. Jewel gets one back on a slasher. So they are trading these back and forth. The advantage there now for first attempt on the attack. And this is the best showing we've had out of them so far. This is a reassuring sign.
But if you are Visionary, you still can hide underneath this hatch, and both of the impacts are actually out from Abadu. So as I say that, actually, Abadu able to get the kill onto Jewel. So it's going to be up to Bait, Casper, and PK alone in this 3v3. Obviously, the man count is even, but all of the utility from the defensive side has been burned. So it's going to be up to the gun skill of Visionary to be able to take the rest of this round out. And I think first attempt are stalling a little bit here. They're just trying to see what avenues of attack are open for them. And let me tell you, Casper is going to open up another one. The streets are open. Badger has fallen. And now it's going to be up to first attempt to sort of decide where they want to plant. Now, limited time remaining on this round, and even more limited now that Jimmy has been able to get out Bait, and Jimmy going even more off. It's going to be up to Casper. In this 1v2, the diffuser is in a very precarious situation here, and Casper actually able to get both! He's able to take out Jimmy and Abadu, and first attempt evens up the scoreline. I thought the shotgun was holding close enough of an angle, but apparently I'm just wrong.
The M590 is a real powerhouse, but it just too long a range. Couldn't find the frag he needed to. It was just Casper. He's currently living in New Zealand. It's free roam territory for him. No lockdown, nothing that he has to worry about. And so he just walks onto the bomb site, clutches it out, and we're back at 2-2 here now, Santos. First attempt. This is the best showing we've seen out of them so far. They are really coming into this matchup. They could just as easily take a map away from Visionary here. They've still got their defensive half to go. They're 2-2 at the moment. We're going to be heading back up to Gym Bedroom. If they take one more round, they're going to be sitting quite pretty going into the second half.
Sitting pretty they are, but Gym and Bedroom was a very strong defense for them, especially with the way that First Attempt decided to try and take onto the site. They were emphasizing that CCTV hold and unfortunately the vertical pressure that came out from Casper, who likes playing underneath stock, likes trying to flush out people with that breaching round. Unfortunately, Casper was just felled a little early, so I think look for First Attempt to maybe try something new, maybe go for that jacuzzi wall and really open up that secondary angle of attack. But if you are Visionary, just lean on the sort of fragging power that you have brought up to the table. Obviously, Badger here on that castle is going to be able to sort of open up any rotations here, being able to put the castle doors on the windows and really just open up some angles of attack there and really allows for some aggressive play from Visionary, holding some long angles into maybe Cash. So some good reads being brought out here from both sides.
Yeah, now the key to this round going the way of First Attempt is to try and deny that roam game. We saw just how much of an impact Panic was able to have. He found 3 kills in the round before he himself was taken out. He was able to get that kill onto Jewel nice and early on, deny some of that vertical pressure, deny that utility burn. From there, he just translated into another frag, and then one on top of that as he finally got gunned down in Cash. So they need to be making sure that he doesn't have that mobility. And PK, that's a great way to do it. 2 rounds in a row now. He shut out Panic, guns down the Vigil. That's a lot of the threat now off the board. And from here, they can start that march over towards the bomb site. They need to deal with Cash. From there, they can move into Con, and it just slowly works their way forward. This is exactly the start they're looking for.
I like this move from First Attempt as well, obviously reading into the fact that they do have a man advantage and just saying, hey, screw it, we're going to keep it going, as Casper able to get another kill onto Jimmy Buckets. And wow, the kills are coming out here quickly for First Attempt. They've woken up here in SCS, and they're up 5 men to 2 with potentially just another round win here. And wow, just being super aggressive apparently works here in Siege. What you match gun skill with gun skill. Unfortunately, Abadu has some gun skill of his own, able to get the kill onto Jewel. Casper though with the free frag on the Badger, and it's alone. The Maestro, not long to last. First Attempt. This is the best we've seen out of them, and I love what we're seeing out of First Attempt here in this matchup.
Obviously, they put in some hard work over the last week. They're starting to meet their stride, and they've got 3 rounds already in the first half. They're looking to go for that 4-2 split, and against a team like Visionary, that's a huge statement to make. If they can take a map away, even an entire series away from this team, they are going to start to be a real threat to some of the teams hitting that top 5 mark. CCTV coming in now. We're seeing largely the same stuff on the side of Visionary here. They are just stumbling over these little blocks. Largely PK just able to find those frags, playing the angles aggressively, and Panic being shut down so early on in these rounds. In fact, he is 2 for 3 at the moment in terms of opening gunfights. He has died 3 times in that opening gunfight, just being picked out. They're playing the positions they need so that he can't capitalize. If they keep doing that, he is basically the spearhead of the team. He's the one leading the charge. If they can shut him down, the rest of the team, they struggle a little bit. They start to falter. They start to trip. And First Attempt have a great shot at closing the round out.
I mean, First Attempt to take a 4-2 scoreline off of Clubhouse attack. You can't really ask for much more when you are on your attacking half, especially on a map like Clubhouse where, you would think it's a little bit more even. The fact that First Attempt has been very solid here proves that they are here to stay here in SCS. They are here to sort of make a really big run of it. And yeah, as you mentioned, the rounds are really coming down to whether or not Panic can last in his sort of positionings. Obviously, some of his flanks have been a little bit mistimed, and that really just sort of gets the snowball rolling, so to speak, for First Attempt. If we see the aggression from Panic be tempered a little bit, maybe Visionary have called him to maybe temper his gunfighting a little bit and just trust his gun skill in terms of the angle play rather than trying to take matters into his own hands and play some hero ball here in Siege.
That's exactly it. And Abadu, he's going to hit the ground early. They just are doing the damage they need to. There will be a pickup, but that's a lot of chunk, a lot of chip already onto such a key operator. And 2 quick frags taken out. Panic again. The first casualty of war in round number 6. They follow up onto Jimmy. That's a huge amount of utility. That's a huge amount of damage threat in terms of those firearms. They've got 3 players left with over 2 minutes to play. This is First Attempt playing in their own at the moment. The first time we have seen them do it. Bandit Trick coming out, Heaver Badger, but no, he just gives up on it. He says, we can't afford to commit to this. We need to stay alive so we can go for the gunplay.
But the gunplay hasn't been really working out for them either, as Casper here just able to get some free reign into stock, and it's going to be up to Slasher here to sort of hold that control of Rafters here. And yeah, first attempt are really just trying to surround the bomb site here and just try and drone out and get as much information as possible to sort of mount their attack and really set up for this execute. But the thing that amazes me about this is that there's still more than half the round remaining. Badger losing his life as well to Bloomins. Very nice shot from him. And yeah, the first attempt looking absolutely insane here. And the wake-up call definitely has been heated.
I mean, aggressively swinging, sitting in the middle of a doorway like that for Badger, it's a questionable play to say the very least. Now, though, Abadu and Slash, they got to go big. Unfortunately, the feet heard. Casper takes yet another life away, and Slashy's stuck in rafters as the plant is going down. He can't find the angle. He will find the kill onto Bloomins, though, who swings into cash. But you look at all the crossfires. You look at all the angles. As soon as he steps one toe out of position, he's either getting shot in the back of the head or the front. The question is, which is it? He swings onto the breach, and it's going to be Jewel. That M762 guns him down, and for the first time, we see first attempt with a huge round lead going into the half and in a great position to take away a map here.
It all comes down to their defense, and we like to say that the defense tends to be the stronger side. So yeah, first attempt in great position to win this map and get their first map win of the season. You know, they've shown these great moments throughout the season. So as much as I have to be unbiased as a caster, it is really cool to see the fact that first attempt is definitely waking up here and really just showing us exactly what they can do. But if you are a visionary, really just the mental reset has to happen here. Obviously, you know that you are one of the stronger rosters here just based on your scoreline. You know, you're sitting at 4-2. I think that you can't really chalk up this map yet. You're still in position to try and win out these gunfights and really just get your way back into this matchup. But a misread here coming out here from Badger, who has opted for the fuse, but we do see the gym and bedroom coming out here from first attempt. So yeah, I think the offsite bomb picks have been a big difference maker in this matchup. It allows for some very interesting strategy. Let's call it that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We'll see just how well it pays off here. The fuse, it's a bold play. The gun is very, very solid. Depends on which one he's bringing. I would imagine, yeah, it's going to be the AK-12. It's just proved itself to be a very, very superior firearm in this situation. He's also bringing that secondary hard breach gadget, so he is going to be a real tool coming into this. He has some options to play around. He can use that fuse on either gym or master bedroom window, so it's going to be interesting to see where they look to prioritize things here. But the rest of the roster, largely what you'd be expecting in this situation, though. On the side of first attempt, no breach denial coming out. This could be, again, a very, very easy take for the attackers and could push first attempt into a situation where they're going to have to clutch up hard.
Just based on the positioning of Visionary, it's going to be another one of those CCTV and cache side takes. And this is all good and dandy if you're able to get the information and able to get those picks. But as we've seen from first attempt, those guns are absolutely blazing right now. And if you peek Casper, you're probably going to lose your head. But Visionary, just knowing that the young gunners they are going to be trying to sort of take the fight to them, and they are able to get some pressure onto Cons with the presence of the Habana charges trying to get this outdoor Cons wall. But I'm not sure if it can be popped. I don't think there's a piece of utility protecting it. So again, some very interesting decisions being brought out here from Visionary to sort of put some pressure onto the side. I think they're looking a little disjointed here, though. No real pressure coming out here yet.
Yeah, they're a little bit overspread. You got Badger sitting over by CCTV, and PK, he's going to find panic yet again, continually just bullying this poor man out. They lose the sledge. They've also lost Jacuzzi Wall, though. So as much as they've gained in that frag, they have lost that a little bit in terms of positional advantage. Abadu, we know just how well he can play with that thermite. He's going to be holding the angle into red corridor. This could be very, very brutal. If they don't find some way to clear that out, if they don't find some way to contest, they can get that positional advantage, push into the bomb site and go for an execute, and there could be little first attempt they're able to do.
At the same time, though, you didn't gain too much by getting that Jacuzzi wall open. The best you gain is some control over 90 and then a free run-in into the site here. But we're seeing some very disciplined gameplay here coming out of PK to just watch the angle and really deny any sort of entrance here into the gym into the gym site. And it's going to take a little bit more pressure here from Visionary, and maybe some flush outs here as we see Abadu going for. To really get any pressure here on the first attempt, I think first attempt would do well here to just watch their angles here and play a little bit of a passive game here with 40 seconds remaining on the round. Visionary is going to have to be instigators here.
They're going to have to go for some aggressive push. And you see Slasher, he's on the Zofia. We've seen he's going to have to go big and find some kills. And Visionary did largely stall out Badger. He's still over CCTV, and there's 25 seconds left to play. There is no way he's going to be able to meaningful impact this round without finding some big frags. Slasher opens, but there's a refrag quickly coming. Jewel and Bloomin take down 2 going in, and the kill feed just lighting up blue as Bloomins finds another one. It's all on Badger. He was locked out of the bomb site for so long. He spent so long on CCTV balcony. There's little he can do except go for frags, and with a goo mine on his leg, this is a huge misplay coming out of Visionary. They didn't have him in the right place at the right time. Bloomins came in, found some huge frags to kick this round off, and first attempt, they start moving that much closer to ending this map out. The communication just not there. You've got to wonder if this shift in mentality for an org like Visionary looking to push for Challenger League has maybe come at the detriment of some of their players who aren't going to be old enough to play.
And we see Badger, right? Like maybe the mentality of the game is maybe getting to him just a little bit. You know, he is currently, unfortunately, on an Owen bomb, and maybe we needed to see a little bit more aggression from him coming onto the CCTV side and maybe shift some of the defenders from first attempt. Because Badger was just existing on the balcony for free. And why would you peek him anyway? He's not really making any sort of impact on the round there, despite being able to push into CC and cash late. But, you know, maybe he was meant to be that sort of late flank, but unfortunately for him, it really didn't net positive. I'm not sure about the positioning, as you mentioned there. And Visionary were essentially down a man in terms of their execute.
There's some questionable decisions being made. They've put Badger on the IQ now, so hopefully that can start to do a little bit of work for them. But first attempt, with the amount of room they have, with the amount of time left in this map and the position they find themselves in, it's not really out of the realms of possibility that we see them take away their first map here. 5-2, it's exactly where you want to be sitting in the defense. They're heading to basement now, which realistically, if they play their cards right, should be a win. They've got the 4 impact online, so it's going to be that much harder to contest kitchen. If they win this, it's map point. If they win the next one, well, we're heading to our map number 2, which is going to be themed. This is exactly what we should be seeing from first attempt. This is them playing in their element, playing with that comfortability of being on the front foot. And if this continues, this is going to be an absolute shutout.
You know, the cards have fallen here perfectly for first attempt. I think Clubhouse is really that map where you sort of go back to basics as a team and really just learn to sort of play for each other. And if this map is any indication, I think first attempt have sort of picked up the pieces from where they started off this season, obviously not starting off in the best sort of situation here. And unfortunately, we're seeing some very early nitrocell burn here, and unfortunately for them, it's not netting positive in any way. Yeah, Casper has lost his nitro and the vertical pressure coming out here from Visionary, but I think for first attempt, you know, if you take the momentum from this game, from this map and bring it into theme park, you know, where the team play is even more of a crux, I think first attempt is going to be looking to establish that momentum, and Bloomins able to get Badger. Badger's struggles, unfortunately, continuing here as we move further and further into the round.
It's exactly the frag you want to be taken off the board early. No IQ means no reliable way to figure out where that gadgetry is coming from. Impact trick moments away, and it will be executed appropriately. Jimmy throws out the last X-Caro, but I don't think they have a way to contest it. Yeah, no, they do. They're in the right place, but unfortunately, no, it seems it was just not at the right angle to deny the opening. And Panic, he's going to even it up, takes down Bait, losing the smoke early. It's another one, unfortunate. PK, yet again, guns down Panic. This is a trend that seems to be repeating. Slasher, he's going to get yet another one back, and we're even going into that final minute. This could be an absolute bloodbath. You see all the first attempt, they're backing themselves against the wall, all hunkering down, inevitably waiting for that push that is going to be moments away. BO2, he's leading the charge with the drones, looking for that information. If they can spot out one, they can look to turn that into an advantage, but we could see a quick plant coming out here.
A quick plant is definitely in the cards here for Visionary, but if you are first attempt, you know, just establish those angles, and that's perfect there from PK to get the kill on the Slasher. That has been the biggest gun here from the side of first attempt there, and the momentum continues here. Visionary looking for answers, and first attempt going for their first attempt at a win, pun intended. Nope. That was not a good setup. Never mind. They win. They win that round. No, that was a terrible setup. That was bad. I'm sorry.
Well, this is not at all what we expected coming to this. We know that First Attempt have been making those improvements, working towards actually coming in and contesting this. And obviously, these guys have put in a huge amount of work in the last week, because this is not at all how we expected. If anything, it was going to be close. But the real situation that we're facing now is that somehow Visionary could be going down 7-2 on Clubhouse. CCTV Cash coming in potentially the final bomb site of this first map. And Santos, they are just firing on all cylinders here. Whatever Stokes is doing behind the scenes, it's really working, because this has got to be scary if you're watching this and you're one of the other teams in the competition.
Yeah, you're seeing the sort of rise of the dragon, no pun intended, high Stokes. Yeah, you're seeing that sort of rise from First Attempt, and no one really expected this, right? Maybe Visionary falling asleep at the wheel a little bit, maybe chalking this game up, and obviously you can't do that against anyone here in SCS, because they are going to catch you out. I think we're seeing that in its biggest sort of font here. First Attempt dominating this matchup so far, and Badger unfortunately has been dominated as well, and I think they're missing his fragging potential just a little bit here, and they've been putting him on operators that could be sort of fragging potential operators, you would say. Obviously the G8, a very powerful gun, as well as the AK-12 that he brought on the fuse, and unfortunately for him, he's just struggled here. I think they need to open up his gunplay a little bit, or yeah, he needs to get some momentum here from buying his teammates some kills with a drone, whatever it may be, to get him going.
Panic, he's just not having a great time either. I mean, the number of times at the moment he's been involved, but all but one opening gunfights, and he is 2 for 5 right now. They are just shutting him down at every turn. Like I said, he is the linchpin here. If he can find an opening, if he can start to do the work, the team will be right there following on his shoulder. At the moment, he is just not contributing in a way that is going to be meaningful. Yes, he has 7 frags, but those largely came for the opening few rounds when they were on the defense. Now, though, he's being shut down at every turn. They are killing him. In fact, it's been PK more often than not that has found that frag onto him. And as a result, the momentum just has stalled out. You lose your in-game leader. You lose a large piece of that attacking puzzle, and that makes it that much harder. Now, though, they're going to be going for an execute, trying to get themselves into CCTV. Slasher is below. He's looking for the impact, trying to deal with that mute jammer, but there's a lot of pressure coming in from multiple angles. It will go out. They will start that up, but Jewel, he finds Badger yet again. 0-2 and 9 because of that nitro cell. The positioning is just on point at every turn for First Attempt. That is a huge punish.
Badger has been punished every step of the way in this matchup, unfortunately for him, and that's just a very perfect frag to get here to start off your sort of momentum here. We talk about the importance of cost and the opening death / opening kill, and I think we're seeing that here just at its best here, and Casper is going to be able to just sit on Raptors relatively uncontested. The frags do come out though. No, uncontested, I am wrong. Panic, causing a little bit of panic with that frag grenade. Casper looked a little bit lost, and Panic is going to be able to take some free control of Raptors here, but they do have some crosses able to sort of counteract that sort of spot, but we are seeing a garage sort of execute here from Visionary, but there's only 2 members there aside from Jimmy Buckets trying to cut off bottom red rotate, and the plants are trying to come down. Unfortunately for Bloomins, he's going to fall, but Jewel able to get some kills of his own, bait to follow onto Avenue, and the diffuser is down in a very precarious situation, and they can just play the sort of angles there, but Panic able to get the gunfight win, Slasher to follow, and it's going to be up to PK alone. In a 1v2, they do have diffuser control, but you lost it in a bad spot. Unfortunately, just the gunfights are a little bit too close. Visionary, bring one back.
They just steal that one away. It looked for sure, the way that round kicked off, that it was going to be yet another First Attempt round on the board, but you can never count these guys out. Their individual gun skill, their individual capabilities are just phenomenal. If you give them room to breathe, like I said, they can really pop off. Slasher on the Zofia. He walked in, he lost the diffuser. I'm surprised that we didn't see that hard commit go in as soon as Evergy was in the bomb site. He swung in, got fragged out. But now, look, they've got a round on the board. There's only 3 more that they need to get pushed to overtime. But First Attempt, they're going to be heading back to CCTV. They're going to be bringing Mira with them. that's an operator that hasn't been said, okay, it's going to be 6 picked out for a Vigil instead, but they're trying to go for the bait, trying to go for the misinformation plays. If they can throw them off, and speaking of misinformation, Alibi is an operator that's great at doing it. Wherever you throw those prismas down, you have to second guess yourself. Is it the real operator? Is it a gadget? You've got to be careful. And Badger, if he loses out here early again, Santos, if Badger dies in the opening frag yet again, those prismas and the Valkyrie cams, the black eyes, are infinitely more valuable.
If you get Badger off the table early too, I love using Alibi towards the late round when you kind of have to face check and peek everything, because you really just sort of mess with the gunfight confidence there from anyone on that attacking side. So yeah, if Badger's going to be early to fall again without clearing any sort of utility, obviously you mentioned the Valkyrie as well, is going to be that much more powerful. And also, you know, just being able to deny any sort of general utility. We see the Jaeger devices on the board as well. And yeah, it's going to come down to, again, the opening gunfight. Hopefully Badger is able to get his game going here. And yeah, it comes down to these opening gunfights really making the difference on this map.
Yeah, and as they start that pressure up, they're going to be heading straight in. Lumens, look at that. He's ready and waiting for the player who will inevitably be pushing into stock, and it's going to be Badger. Surely he does not fall victim yet again here, but the way things are going, he's going to drone himself in. They have no idea that Bloomans is in garage at the moment. He did shoot the drone out, so they might have some inkling of where he could be. That's still no firm confirmation. He's playing on the bullet hole. In fact, they might just go for an aggressive contest onto stock at the moment. There's a lot of players positioning. There's a lot of players ready and looking for those fights. At the moment, nothing found just yet. Bloomans will pull off the wall. With those X-Caros in place, they've got a hard lockout of garage. There's no way to rotate back. Exothermic as well out. And Bloomans, he's found Badger, finally gets himself a kill on the board. And from there, they could transition this into some huge advantages.
That's your Alibi off the board as well, so no late round questioning yourself in gunfights. And yeah, the drone work is going to continue here from Visionary. They are opting to play this sort of information game rather than trying to dry peek everything, which is, I think, going to enable your gun skill a little bit more. And now we see Badger able to make a very noticeable impact here on the round. Obviously, that IQ sort of gadgetry is very important here, but he does have his back turned if someone swings from blue at the perfect time, which is now Jewel able to get the kill onto him, but not before Panic is able to take out Casper. Casper struggling there on the rafters just a little bit here, and I think it's going to come down to Jewel. Is he going to be able to rotate away from Panic? Is he going to be able to run away from that gunfight? It seems so, and yeah, first attempt is going to just have to establish some defensive positions here, because they have lost a lot of angle play because of the presence of the CCTV wall being opened. And now the kills are coming down even faster, and Visionary, 2 rounds in a row here. They're looking strong again.
It's 2 rounds. They're bringing it back now. They're that much closer to getting that overtime spot. They need 2 more. Can they do it? The real question is, though, off the back of that, they've lost CCTV twice in a row now. First attempt can head back down to basement. So they have that security of a preferred bomb site. This is going to be very, very telling. Can we see Visionary keep that momentum, keep the clawback happening, or are we going to see, you know, first attempt, head to this bomb site that they're now comfortable with, they've played exceedingly well so far, can they just potentially shut it out? That is the real question. These players on both sides have stepped up in a way that we didn't expect. Specifically, first attempt, they have put in, I would argue, more work coming into this matchup than we anticipated. And with PK just leading the charge, finding these phenomenal frags, this could still be that final round.
Hopefully so, because I'm going to call it right now. If first attempt cannot win this round, this map is going to overtime. You heard it here from me first. Santos the Genie trying to predict the future just a little bit here, because Visionary have looked on a tear here, and Badger was able to find the scoreboard as well, and you saw how much of a difference he was able to make throughout the sort of mid-game in that round, despite getting found out by Jewel, who came up with blue. We saw Badger was able to deal with the utility, and also Casper losing his life on the rafters was definitely another one of those big kills in the round that really enabled Visionary to push in aggressively. So first attempt can't afford to be losing these people in losing these operators in some big positions here. Look for them to sort of play a little bit more of a defensive game, maybe play a little bit more reserved in these crucial spots, such as dirt, such as maybe underneath the kitchen hatch as well.
For the looks of it, Bloomins is going to be playing more of an anchor vigil, I would imagine, with those nitros. Never mind, impacts. He's up in con at the moment, which means that impact tracking is going to be that much weaker. It's going to be heavily on the shoulders of PK. And it seems that it's just going to be a top-down clear. That is the read, potentially, well, definitely coming out here for Visionary. They head straight up to Jacuzzi. They blow it open. Drones heading straight down the stairs. And this is a situation where Bloomin could do a lot of damage. He's in con. He is going to be sitting quite comfortable in terms of available information. As they do start up that push, Panic could be the first victim to fall here as the drones come in. He's sitting just behind the table. Oh, very close, very lucky on both sides to get away. And unfortunately, Bloomins goes for the reattempt. And that's exactly the kind of frag you want to be finding. Panic finds the opener. And from here, this is going to translate into a huge amount of positional advantage.
Yeah, the man advantage unfortunately falling from first attempt, and that's also been a very big gun. Bloomin's off the board here. He is the double-digit operator from first attempt, and now Visionary are running rampant up and down the site. Jewel has been droned out here, and it's going to be looking like a sort of anchor-style defense here from first attempt because they've been forced into it here by Visionary. They've taken a lot of map control here in Bloomin's, not able to waste enough time. There's still plenty of time here for Visionary to get off and execute and sort of force first attempt into some ideal positions. Very good roam clear here from Visionary to eliminate Bloomins and establish some very big map control right now.
It's not over yet. The round still has a minute left to play. It's a 5v4, but with the guns on the board, we know PK can frag. We know Casper can contribute when needed. And they are just seeing that floor open up. Panic going to be on the job, but he's tagged quite heavy at the moment. That Aldert, we know just how good it is in these clutch situations. Impact comes out. Is going to look to deny that hatch, and that is exactly what's going to happen. They get the corner, but that is not enough in this situation. The real question is, do they prioritize this? Do they look for another avenue in? And Panic, he's headed down main stairs. He's going to be looking to find that. Moto drop seems to be the play here, as Badger will be the first one in. Toxic canister there, and Panic and Slasher string two together and extend that man advantage even more. It means Casper and PK have to go absolutely huge here. Lines up one, spray through the wall over towards Moto. Can he find another? No. He's tagged on his heels, and Casper looking to go for the aggress. Stands up, sees one in blue, but PK's swung on. Casper is the defining factor here. Unfortunately, his gun just not good enough at the end of the day. And Visionary, they win round 11. They have one more to go to be able to secure themselves OT. There is no room for mistakes for first attempt in this next round.
That would be very, very disappointing considering how first attempt started off this map to only get away with 2 or maybe even 1 point. Obviously overtime very unpredictable here, and we have seen first attempt to be a little bit more of an emotional side here. Maybe the mentality is sort of getting to them a little bit, and we see them come back up to that gym and bedroom bomb site, which signals to me that they're just trying anything to sort of throw off Visionary and really win that mental game. But right now, Visionary are all up inside of first attempt's head. It's going to take some very special effort here, and you got to win that first engagement here to really sort of set the tone in the round here, because we've seen that the first engagement, whoever wins that out is more than likely going to win that round, with the exception of maybe a couple exceptions here. I don't have a stat on it, but first engagement definitely the biggest one in Siege, except for the
more often than not. You're not wrong. At the moment, 100% of the rounds that Visionary have won have been with them getting the opening trade. There's only it's 80%. One has not been with them securing the opening trade. At the moment, though, the favor is definitely on the side of first attempt. They've got 7 so far. With this, they're heading back to gym. This is a bold choice, Santos. They don't have any breach denial either. Again, it's just putting themselves at a bit of a disadvantage that they don't need to find themselves in. This is going to rely heavily on PK and Bloomins finding some huge frags. If they can do that, they can bring this back. But the last few rounds haven't given me a whole lot of confidence.
Definitely not. And yeah, the breach denial is definitely one of the biggest sort of cruxes in this round. They're going to be wishing that they had maybe brought a mute or a bandit here, because they're going to be able to get Visionary is going to be able to get that jacuzzi wall just ever so freely here, and it's going to be up to Jewel to hold strong here in logistics. Obviously, there are many ways to pressure onto logistics as well, so I think first attempt here are wishing that they sort of had that breach denial here, but we do see, I think that's going to be PK here in a very strong position here to deny any entrance into the gym. He's going to win out against Panic, and that's a very big kill, knowing Panic has been the strongest person in terms of fragging on Visionary. A very profitable first engagement there for first attempt.
Slasher as well, he's going to be tagged up. He's looking a little bit worse for wear as they start that march in. Slasher, he's looking for an angle. He's looking to find and punish PK here. The stuns are going to be going out there looking to try and force their way in and look for a plant if they can. Badger, he's off on his own on suicide, so if he dies out here, he's going to be in a bit of trouble. They're just playing it slow. They're not over-forcing in these angles. Badger has been given the job of flank watch. PK, he's ready and willing. If he swings out and looks the right way, he's going to find it, but it's actually Bloomans to secure. This is looking rough. They need to go absolutely huge here on the side of Visionary. It's still Slasher, Abadu, and Jimmy left alive. But with 1:17 left on the clock, they have largely been locked out of the bomb site. And from above, PK, they preset the angle and they find the kill off the back. But Bloomans with a double as the jump out of CCTV happens. Abadu, a man alone, 1 versus 5. All the hopes and dreams of Visionary riding here. He's been found, but he gets the frag in the end. Bloomans, oh, surprise, surprise, to shut it down. First attempt, get their first map win here in SCS.
First map win and a very good week to do it up against a very strong roster of Visionary, and we saw the same mistake as the last gym bedroom defense from Visionary. They kept a person on that CCTV balcony for just way too long, and they lost the engagements at the beginning of the round as well. So yeah, nothing to take away from first attempt though. That was some very solid play from them, and yeah, congrats first attempt. You got your first win.
It was not their first attempt, but you know, it worked out for him, I guess, just to keep that.
I tried that pun earlier, it didn't work.
Well, you know, we're forcing it to work now. You know what I'm saying, Toast? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll say it was a funny one. Okay, I don't know what Blue had to say about that. I mean, maybe he's cursing you silently.
No, look, hey, it's all about the attempts at the end of the day. And speaking of, what an attempt we saw there. It looked like Visionary might have been able to drag it back, but first attempt, come into the final. They do deny them at the end. The final attempt to deny overtime, so to speak.
Oh my god.
Well, hey, look, that one fit a little bit better. I'll take that one away.
It worked out. I mean, hey, Santos, I didn't run the poll, but your camera's entering the dark zone again. But in any case, guys, oh my lord, Visionary should not have gotten that many rounds. I'm just gonna say it right now. They should not have won that many rounds. But in any case, I was excited to see it go 7-5. It made it exciting for the viewers. It made it exciting for me to watch. I'm sure it was exciting for you guys to cast. But yeah, there were moments where first attempt had the ability to shut it down, and just unfortunate circumstances came through. But I think the number one fact of the day is Badger a little bit from Visionary. He was a consistent player every previous week, so I guess it was just not his map today. So I'm not gonna dog on him too hard. But yeah, no, you can't do that, because otherwise, when the rest of your team is doing the way that they were doing, which is overall fairly well, you know, you need to step up a little bit, and maybe it would have changed the game a little bit there. But again, he's been a great player all season so far, so not going to linger on that too much. But do you guys have any final thingies here before we kick it on over to Putin?
No, I imagine he's largely going to be touching on things, but there's some interesting stats going into the entry side of things that I have no doubt he'll touch on. And it's yeah, there's a couple of things coming off the back of that match that are rather surprising in all.
Mm-hmm. Toast, anything from you, my friend?
I mean, congrats first attempt, but yeah, I think Putin's a lot smarter than me. You should probably go to him.
Okay, yeah, we'll go to Putin after that one. You guys go have some like brain fuel or something like that. Like drink some water, and I don't know what's really good brain food anymore. But in any case, Putin, let's talk brains a little bit. What you got for me, my friend? Round 3, I see.
Yeah, so a little heads up. My main monitor, it is black right now, but my other monitors are up. You hear me? Hello? Hello?
You're alive, but your mic is so quiet, my friend. You might want to push it a little bit closer to
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hey, there
Hello?
it is. I can hear you. Yes.
Awesome. Well, hello. Hello. How are you doing?
Pretty good. It was an exciting first map, but you know, doing great. How about you?
I am doing all right. Right now, my what the frick? So what my PC is doing right now is my main monitor, it is black, and All right, cool. So yeah, so going on to round three. Round three was definitely a round that I wanted to point out more on the ends because of the overall team performance.
Mhm.
We saw Visionary look very strong on that round. They were able to literally shut them out. We saw the Thermite almost come in and clutch it out, but once again, we saw Visionary almost throw. Once I saw that round, that was originally like, what was it, like a 1v3, 1v4, start to get very close. I
Oh
was
yeah.
just like, I was starting to get a little shaky for Visionary and like future predictions here, but as the match continued to go on, Visionary started to look even more shaky. We know Visionary has a very strong attacker-sided team. However, we did not see that. It took them a very long time to gain that momentum. It may have been because of Badger, but looking at Badger, it was just his positioning. He was caught in very unfortunate circumstances in almost all of his deaths. So I know for the next map he's going to be popping off because he's here in the game. He just needs to be a little bit more patient. Same with Panic. Panic was really trying to do more hero plays. Those hero plays cost him round. I think he had like what four first round deaths in a row. So that stat right there could have also put his team in a deficit. How are you feeling about it too?
I would have to agree with you, honestly. I mean, Badger, yeah, I think he's waking up a little bit, especially the last couple rounds. He was picking up a couple frags. He was, putting in his weight for the round, so I think that's good. But another point I want to make is Jimmy. Actually, I believe he is new to the Visionary roster this week. So potentially, as we know, and as we know, and sometimes hate in T3, the roster shuffles are just immense. So going back and forth with different players is never easy. You have to like relearn your same strategies almost because you're doing it with a new person. They might be calling things out differently. Comms are going to be weird. Team chemistry is not quite there yet. So I'm going to also potentially attribute the loss to that fact, but I could be wrong about that. I mean, they might have been screaming their minds out. It just came down to individual positioning, like you were talking about. But it might just be a combination of the two, to be entirely honest.
Yeah, honestly, it'll all just come down to the next map because we can talk all we want about it, but next map is going to really show if what we talk about they implement. It's like Jimmy, his performance has been amazing. I think it was round 4 that I have queued up as well, where he almost clutches out the win for their basement defense.
Yep.
Like Jimmy alone, him playing in blue, getting that kill inside Moto, rotating, getting another kill, and then the Ash eating the shotgun shot. Honestly, I feel that as I play that shotgun too. So that thing has very weird hit reg.
It's
I feel
broken
like
sometimes. It's broken.
it's a sniper and then it's a BB gun.
Oh
uh,
my god, too true, man, too true. There's moments where in this game it is so frustrating because things that worked a round ago will not work in the following round. So yeah, that's something you hate to see. But
yeah.
I don't know. I still like the shotgun though. I know that we all still probably know and love the shotgun, but it can be frustrating.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's Siege. In the end, it's a video game. You can't really control all the different aspects of it.
It is
Uh,
what it
but
is.
the most important thing was the positioning that we saw in the round. Like Jimmy, very well positioned. We saw the Maestro get the kill and the Zofia inside dirt. That was honestly like a really good gunfight to win because once you have dirt control, they had to rotate their whole push towards church, and we saw them just try to rush through church door, and Jimmy was able to stop that. Like what we're seeing is a lot of potential from Visionary. They just need to capitalize it on for the next map.
Yeah.
And then more onto first attempt. First attempt is looking very strong. I am very surprised because first attempt they're bottom of the leaderboards as far as SCS goes. And they're starting to put up some rounds against one of the top tier teams.
Yeah, that's exactly what this team needed here. They're starting to gain that confidence, and I think another important fact to see is that the first half it went 4-2 split in favor of first attempt, if I'm remembering correctly, and
Yes.
that is a huge momentum boost. And I believe they also won a couple rounds on their defense right off the bat as well, so they continued that streak even a little bit further. So seeing that is a huge confidence boost, not only for the team but also in me about them. You know what I mean? Because SCS is as much of a proving ground for some of these teams. As it is to the players themselves. So seeing that sort of affirms that they're starting to get their feet beneath them. They're getting their sea legs per se, which is exciting. So I know for the remainder of their season they're going to be a tough opponent no matter what happens here. But I think here's that Ash play that you're talking about. Oh
yeah,
boy.
I can't see it because my monitors are black, but it's
Oh my, yeah, it just happened. I mean, he swings around, he gets like almost an instant headshot, and then
oh yeah,
clicks again,
yeah.
and oh no, that's
It,
just you hate to see it. We'll
it
put it like that. You hate to see it.
I'm really curious as if that may have resulted in momentum loss, but you never know. You'll just have to
I
ask.
know.
If
Yeah.
we'll just have to ask during the interview because if Visionary is able to get that momentum, because they started to carry momentum, but they couldn't close that out on Master. I think they're gonna carry that momentum over to the next map. First attempt, they're still looking very strong. They're gonna still bring that winning mentality over with them. I know next map, Badger, this is his map. I got faith in him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they bring to the table on this one. I think this map, given how both teams were performing in that second half of the game, it's going to be very close. You know, if that's anything to go by, I think we see potentially a 3-3 split at the first half, and I see potentially an overtime as well. If something doesn't go crazily in one direction, like obviously things happen, people make amazing plays, and it might shift that. But my premonition right now, my brain is telling me it might be a 3-3 split, and we might be seeing an overtime here for the final map of the day coming up next. But here's round number 1 as well, and I know that you can't see it right now, Putin, but I believe that this round went to who was it? Was it first attempt that won this round, or was it?
So this is the round where
Oh, it was Visionary.
yeah, so Visionary won because I believe first round they went over to Master side. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so
Yep.
Master side, fun little statistic, has a 43% win rate in SCS right now. So that right there is very curious to see because they won this pretty decisively besides the end because they're just kind of swinging and throwing. Another thing that I want to point out on this round, the first attempt, they just need to watch angles. If they watch their angles, they have an easier time on their attacks.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's something that needs to be done just in general with a lot of these teams here is there's too much emphasis on, swing or be swung when sometimes you can just honestly wait on the enemy team to come to you. But in any case, we're going to see if this crazy sort of tertiary site meta almost of this first map is going to continue on a map number 2. But we're going to go ahead and kick it back over to Santos and Blue Panda. So Putin, hope you figure your monitor out. We'll see you back here for the second one. So hi guys, Santos no longer in that Dark Zero hoodie, but I like the shirt nonetheless, my friend. The frustration is real. I think I saw in the casting channel you were talking about some water going on, but in any case, guys, what are your predictions here for map number 2? What do you think?
I mean, look, it's anyone's game. Visionary, they've looked shaky. This is the shakiest they've looked in a wee while, and with first attempt coming out with a performance like that, I could easily see them taking this whole series.
Sure.
But to play devil's advocate to that, Theme Park is just a wild card of a map overall, and it's definitely something that you have to be a strategically able team to be strong on. So we have seen the strategy, we have seen the hard work, as Blue Panda has mentioned over and over again. We have seen that hard work come out from first attempt, but maybe Visionary's hiding something. It's gonna be interesting to see as we head in here.
Yeah, guys, and map number 2 is going now, so I'm gonna leave you to it. You guys have fun. I'll be back with you in a moment.
Later, buddy.
And Toast, as we come into this map, I got a couple of fun facts for you coming off of that last map. So, the only 2 players on the side of Visionary that were involved in opening gunfights were Panic and Badger, believe it or not. And unfortunately, off that map, Panic has a 0.33% win rate in terms of opening gunfights off of the Clubhouse. That's an unfortunate stat. And speaking of unfortunate, Visionary with an interesting ban. They are going to deny the Ash away, take that out of the hands of Casper, and that is a pretty bold approach.
A bold approach it is, and we see Maverick off the board as well. But yeah, that Ash ban, obviously the vertical gameplay on this map, not only top down but from bottom up as well, is definitely a big difference maker here. I have a statistic for you as well. I am one of the many casters that we have at SCS who can't seem to get his cam figured out. But as I say that, Wamai is going to be the next ban out here, so that utility gameplay is going to be a little bit weakened here. It's going to be. Are we going to see another just off the cuff ban? Like, do we see, like, I don't know, a dock or something? Like, I want to see something weird here. Like.
And Malusi, it's not that crazy. It's pretty straightforward in the end of the day. The interesting thing, Maestro was an operator that was let through. It's one that played very, very well on both sides. The person that was responsible for wielding the Alder was traditionally quite capable of doing so towards the end of whatever given round. And starting things off, first attempt will be on the attack as we head to initiation offers first. This is an interesting one. This bomb site can be attacked and approached from multiple different angles. Can be notoriously hard to hold. Not quite as hard to hold as, say, Bunk Daycare, but I'm interested to see what the plan is here. Badger, this time he's bringing a castle. We could see an extended second floor hold coming out.
I think that's the strongest way to go about this bomb site too. Obviously, there is a lot of real estate that you have to establish control of if you're going to go for a vertical take. So maybe sort of forcing these horizontal angles could be the meta sort of strat here. But it is going to take some very good control of arcade in order to sort of really open up that horizontal gameplay and make sure that you just don't get shot in the back, because obviously if you're getting shot from something you can't see, that just really just defeats the purpose of anything that you're going for anyway. And it's going to be up to Visionary to sort of set the tempo, as we've been mentioning over and over again, of this defense here. So yeah, look for this horizontal gameplay. The long angles have to be established here.
Speaking of long angles, this is an interesting one coming into this. It's not every day that you could say 4 of 5 operators on the defense are currently running shotguns. Yes, 2 of them are secondary, but still, it's a shotgun in hand. This could be an interesting situation where those tight angles are heavily threatened. But with a mirror left unbanned, it is going to be in play in the hands of Slasher. They've got one down in office looking into cash. They could do some real work with that, as traditionally that is exactly where the push does initiate. But looking at this, it's not the call. They're going to be heading over towards Cafe. That is going to be the primary brunt of their push. Blumen's the only player who wasn't with them, the only player who will be heading over in that direction. But I imagine with a sledge on the board, they're going to head straight to the roof, open those hatches, and get themselves in that way. There's a lot of things that could go horrifically wrong here for first opening attack round.
Yeah, a lot of things definitely have to go right here for the first attempt, and that includes this first engagement that we are opening up here from the Abadu and as well as Casper and PK. So, you know, first attempt has to get this sort of aggression going here, and Panic is here to cover off as well. So we're seeing some very strong team play from Visionary, which is something that I emphasized on Theme Park. You need to really just cover for each other, and if one man goes down, obviously it's sort of fundamental to go for refrags, but I think that's even more of a big point here on Theme Park, where it's very easy to get isolated from the rest of your team. And yeah, Casper's going to be first to fall. Badger already showing a lot more fragging power than the first map. Abadu as well. So the isolation is working perfectly here for Visionary.
Yeah, just having to force in those less than linear approaches can be that much harder at the moment. Very, very spread on the attack. A huge amount of coordination available to them because so few players on the board. They're going to have to force something. That they can be heavily punished. Jewel at the moment. Air jab goes out. Slasher is just holding the tight angle and break room at the moment. I think that might have given Jewel the false sense of security that there's no one there, but okay, just spray into the side of the building as a deterrent to stop them from pushing in. Blumen's as well is still alive. Another player who fragged out quite well on map number 1, so it might just be a straight hatch drop into control room, and from that just push into initiation. No one in the So they've freely gotten in. They can go for a plant here. I don't even think Visionary have an idea that they're going for it. Smoke canister comes out, but it's not enough to stop. Jewel will even things up, bring it back to a one-man differential. Bait hits the dirt. So does Jimmy Buckets. They're getting frags left, right, and center. Abadu goes down. Oh, brings it back to a 1v1 in a post-plant situation. Panic. He can't win the gunfight. First attempt, they bring the momentum into the second, and that's exactly how you want to start it off.
Absolutely amazing read there from first attempt to see that Visionary have pulled all of their members there to protect the cafe side. So what are we going to do? We're going to take the opposite hatch drop, and we're going to just get the bomb down and then watch these long angles. Granted, it did come a little bit close for comfort there. It came down to a 1v1 gunfight, but you have to be clutch in those situations as well. Good job to first attempt to get the read on that round and really see the game at a very macro sort of level. Maybe some struggles have come from teams not being able to read into the situation. So first attempt doing a very good job at seeing past the barrel of your gun and seeing the map from a, let's say, top-down perspective.
That's it. Much like we're seeing it now, thanks to our lovely observer A-Beam behind the camera. He's going to give us all that information. And speaking of information, this is a different bomb site. They were looking at going back to initiation off. They say, no, we're going to go bunk daycare instead. And from what I'm seeing already, it's going to be, stock standard. You contest into cafe. You slow the push down from that direction. This is interesting because we could see the same approach coming out here again, Santos. They lost a couple players early. They said, you know what, we're just going to go straight control. They could look for that same option. And I think this Goyo is targeted at that. Gives them a little bit more security. If they realize there's a hard push coming in straight through initiation, they can blow that shield. They can pull back, play it a little bit more defensively. But that has got to be crippling to the mental of Visionary. They had 2 players off the board early. They had the positional advantage, but they overcommitted over towards the cafe side of the building, had no one initiation, and a free plant went down. That's rough.
Yeah, just a rough way to lose the round overall, especially when you look to be in the advantage. You were really just denying any entry from first attempt into the building at all. So the fact that all 3 of them were able to drop down the hatch, and they were none the wiser, just maybe questioning the sort of communication game from Visionary here a little bit. But but enough of last round. They do have a new round to their disposal here, and Jimmy Buckets is going to be looking to hold here inside of Showers just very steadily. But he is getting forced off of his position here, despite first attempt not entering the building as of yet. The drone work is very effective right now.
He's going to be holding tight behind that vault door as they do set up some long angles trying to spray his Casper. He's going to be the first one in. Will the drone reveal just that close angle being held here? If Jimmy could swing in, he could do some real damage. And with Thatcher left on the board, PK is going to be picking up Casper. Oh, that's a tight angle. The drone goes in. Does it turn and see him? It's shot, and he's going to for the spray, but it's not enough. We know how finicky these shotguns can be, and now that the ball is opened from Cash, this could be a multi-swing coming out top. No, Nitro Cell, in fact, just throwing onto the breach. It's a mute, that's right. Panic finds the opener, though. Guns down, Bloomans takes that sledge off the board, and Casper is just prone, sliding around the corner, goes for the long range. And this is looking like it might be a repeat of last round, although first attempt, they are actually, no, it's looking exactly like a repeat of last round. It's whether or not first attempt can transition that into a round win or not.
Yeah, first attempt is going to be just trying to force their way into the site here. They're just going to force their way up against the angles here that Jimmy and Panic have set up. And maybe first attempt opt to try and wake their way to the other side. But Jewel able to get Badger. That's going to be the Goyo to fall. So yeah, these long ACOG angles working out here for the side of first attempt. They're really using the advantage of the guns at hand here to establish some control over the map here. And as I say that, Abdu is going to fall as well, and it's going to be up to the drone work to sort of get that confirmation here. Panic is also none the wiser to the adjustment that they are trying to take into initiation and make their way into B as well. It's going to take a read from him to ensure that that take is very unsuccessful here. The plant could potentially go down as bait. In perfect position to start it up, but he is going to opt to try and take the gunfight first, and Panic is going to fall. So Jimmy Buckets alone in a 1v, now 2, and bait able to get the bomb down. That's going to be a plant for him. All they have to do is play the long angles here. Jewel confirms Abdu, and Jimmy Buckets alone here, just kind of wishing he had a teammate up, but it's a very tall task, especially up against the ACOGs of Jewel and Bait. He only has a little bit of health remaining here, and he's not long to last. First attempt, round 2 in a row. Very good adjustments made mid-round.
2 rounds in a row that have been pulled back from the brink of defeat by first. I say it's not even close to the brink of defeat. They go down 5-3. They then bring it back 3-3, and then they take it down to like a 3-1. Jewel, he gets denied the quad, yes, but the read mid-round, like you said, the adaptations on the fly coming out here from first attempt. 2 rounds in a row where the plant has been allowed to go down here by the defenders with multiple bodies still left on the board. This is just not what we expected coming into this week. This is big plays being made by first attempt, Also coming into play with the big misplays coming out from Visionary, we head down to Throne. We're going to be seeing our third bomb site now. And this is just not at all the first attempt that we saw in, 2-3 weeks ago.
I mean, first attempt is absolutely looking insane. This is the strongest that they've been, and that's by a country mile. And I want to highlight from last round the very just disciplined, play from Bait to hold off in the defuse plant and hold off on putting his gun down and making himself defenseless. He waited for the peak to come out from Arcade, and then just as soon as they had confirmation that the site was secure, that was when he decided to plant the bomb. We talk a little bit about how teams maybe move too fast and not leave some sort of tasks off the check mark a little bit. And I think first attempt is making sure that they cover all of their bases before they move on to that sort of next section. It's some very strong play coming out from first attempt, and Visionary are looking very stagnant in their defenses.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 rounds in a row where first attempt have been able to snag away that opening frag and then still lose out. And Visionaries took the opening frag and then still lost out. First attempt, especially just with the solo effort being put in by Jewel, not to mention the rest of the teams that are also there that are playing off of the back of him. The guy's 6-1-0 going into round number 3. He's just found some huge frags. He's been the player that has determined how that round is played out, purely off of just his fragging potential alone. He's not playing on the Zofia. That's been handed over to Casper as the Ash was banned out. So this is an operator that we haven't really seen too much of in the hands of Jewel. And he's just going absolutely buck wild with that ARX. The more damage he can do, the more rounds that we're going to see first attempt steal away on the attack. And given that it's Throne Armory, this can be a notorious bomb site. Panic, he's looking to contest. If he loses out here, that's going to be huge.
Panic here is going to be the first point of engagement here. A lot of first attempt members are just stacking onto his position. The shots come out through the wall, but unfortunately not able to get the confirmations. But it's okay because the rest of Visionary has his back. But Casper staying guns up there, able to get the refrag out, but they are down a man here as we move further and further into the round. I like the aggressiveness from Visionary here. Instead of opting to let first attempt walk into them, they're saying, let's take the fight to him. And I think that Visionary playing to their strengths a little bit, knowing that they are some very strong fraggers, set the tone in this round here.
But this is a position that we've seen Visionary in twice in a row now, and they've still somehow lost it out. And Concussion is going straight down to bottom Arcade. PK's pushed in aggressively as well. He's in drug at the moment. There is a player close by. It looks, I think it's Badger that's sitting just tucked in there by Barrels. If they can find that frag, it's going to bring things back even. They can then start to look to make that push in towards the bomb site. And Casper walking down the pings there. They know someone's playing in Barrels. The pullback about to happen. Spray goes through, but not able to connect. As they're just playing around the angle, he sees the backside of it. Again, it's just these close angles they can't find. And PK does go down. They find yet another slasher. It's actually the Jaeger instead that finds Casper there on the Zofia, and Bait left at a 1v4. As much as we think he could potentially clutch this out, it's a dire task with 36 seconds left on the clock. This is a much better round out of Visionary. They pull it back, they get themselves some big frags on the board, stall the momentum, and they're not going to be shut out completely, at least.
Not completely, but Bait looking to play to his namesake and bait in some of the members of Visionary and maybe pat his stat sheet a little bit. He's going to make his way down the Dragon Stairs, but unfortunately for him, yeah, you said it, the task is just just a lot. It's very big here. He does get one on the Badger though, and Badger is going to be scratching his head a little bit at that peak. He gets another onto Slasher. Bait showing his gunplay is a little bit strong there, and despite losing some momentum off the round, he wants to keep it going from first attempt in terms of just having that confidence here. And I kind of like that approach, not going to lie, even though the round is essentially lost. Keep going for those kills. Why not shut down some of the members of Visionary a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're one of the players on Visionary and you're coming to you at the end, the fact that he still found 2 frags without dying, if there was more time available to them in that round, that could have been turned on its head once again. I think Visionary, they need to be incredibly concerned with how much momentum first attempt they're able to build, regardless of the situation they're in, regardless of what they're facing up against. They can still find frags and still turn things on its head. With this round, they're heading straight back to initiation. At least that's what I saw it before we transitioned over. And yeah, it's going to be initiation office. They won this round pretty cleanly in the end. They forced in through control room, not workshop. Control got the plant down with no one on Visionary any the wiser. They've brought the mirror back once again. So there needs to be some adaptation coming into it. If they are caught unawares once again, it's going to cost them another round. It will give first attempt at least 3.5 rounds, and that just gives them a great start, great foundation going into their defense.
I mean, Visionary just needed to make that sort of adjustment, as you mentioned, and we see I think we're seeing the same sort of positioning for the mirror windows as well. So obviously, they're just looking to sort of polish up the communication mistakes that they made in this first attempt of the defense here. Oh, that was an unintentional pun again. But yeah, Visionary looking to sort of polish up the communication here and really just not allow the free run into control. I don't know what else to analyze there. It was just a very good play, a very good read from first attempt here. But yeah, you question Visionary a little bit there more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, we went into the opening 2 weeks. Visionary, they looked incredibly solid. They put up a very, very good performance. Slasher in particular was one of those players who was stepping up despite being so young. This time around, he's struggling a little bit. That much is clear. We talked to Panic last week, and he said, yeah, there's just been some scheduling issues, and you've got to wonder if that's maybe impacting his performance coming out. They just haven't had the time to practice or scrim or just get together and play a couple of games, even at the very least. And it's not what we expected coming into this week. We expected it to be a little bit more one-sided, but first attempt, they have used this to get themselves a map win finally on the board. They're looking to try and get themselves a second one here. They've got the round advantage going into round number 4. And the last time this played out, it very much looks like they could secure that 3rd round.
Not to take anything from Visionary either, because these rounds have been very close, but first attempt is going to be looking to just overwhelm this Dragon side once again and really just force out any roamers that could potentially be on the bottom floor. I don't think that there are any there right now, but they're also going to be using the vertical angles to their advantage as well. Jimmy here, being pressured off of that mirror window, is going to have to fall back and play that same shotgun angle that he did in the previous again. A very sort of tight corridor there, but you have talked about how the shotgun can be a little bit finicky in terms of his hit registration, so a lot of trust being put into that buckshot.
PK, he's going to push himself into cash as the rest of first attempt look to join up here. Jimmy, Caution does go in, but it's still a scary prospect trying to force in. They've lost a lot of drones. They've got 2 left, in fact, with 50 seconds left to play. So it's going to have to come down to gunfights. Stuns in. Jimmy is hit with the white screen, but Panic is there providing support in office at the moment. And Badger, he finds the opener onto Casper with that Nitro Cell. So they're going to get themselves the man advantage. Yeah, they need to translate it into a big win. Panic's playing around the bomb chassis. He's tagged heavy by PK. Jimmy, he's going to go for the swing. Nitro Cell out, but it's not Badger. They're just covering all the angles at the moment. They gun down PK. This is a much better performance, a much better showing in this round from Visionary, but is one. They're coming back slowly. Frag grenade tossed coming in from Cafe. Bloomans finds the angle onto Panic. Goes for a swing into Bunk, but can't confirm the kill with 3 players left in only 12 seconds. They're going to find yet another. The plant has to come out quick and fast. And Bait, he finds a double. This is going to enable Flasher left in a 1v3, finds the first. That's Bloomans going down, but no way to stop the plant from happening. So in a post-plant situation, Bait's going to relocate. So is Jewel. Yes, there's a mirror window, but that's not enough information for you to play off of. He's got to find 2. There's no clear lines of... As Bait swings it aggressively. No idea where Jewel is. 30 seconds left. Slasher in a 1v2 situation. The frustration you can see evident on the screen. Swings in. Bait for a triple. First attempt with 3 rounds on the board. This is peak first attempt.
Apparently Stokes is telling them something in these team comms, in these sort of scrims, because first attempt are looking absolutely just strong here. And PK with the jokes here, why can we only win 3v5s? It all comes down to communication. And I think that first attempt you mentioned, with all of that work that they're putting in with each other, are just, yeah, they're really honing in on just the communication game and their competitive understanding. They're obviously having a coach that Cast Pro League can definitely be a big asset here. And we're looking at some very just polished play from first attempt here. And Visionary are just, they're playing solidly, but they can't deal with the second sort of execute that comes out from first attempt.
They need to find some way to stall things out here. Every single round that has been won by first attempt has been in the post plant. They've gotten the bomb down. They've given themselves that much extra time to work with, given them that security net. There's been one single round where the plant hasn't gone down, and that came down to the box. So first attempt, they have that time management enough to get themselves in, get the plant before the time is just too late. It's going to be down to Visionary. They need to stall things out just that little bit more here. They need to force first attempt to take that much more time to clear. I don't know whether that comes in the Legion or a Frost or just one of those trap operators that is going to slow down the play naturally. At the moment, 3-1, anything first attempt gets on top of this, that's just icing on the cake. They've got exactly what they wanted in this situation. The 3-3 half attacking on Theme Park, that's phenomenal. Visionary, they need to claw this back to a 3-3. They've made some changes. They're going for the Mute Mozzie in terms of information potential. They've got Nitro Cells. They've got the Toxic Canisters for Abadu. They have the tools, but at the moment, you look at the frags coming out of first attempt. Jewel and Bait have only died the once so far, and they've got 13 frags between them. This is just not coming together for Visionary at the moment.
I mean, it's coming down to your support play as well as your flank watch play, right? Because you would expect Jewel and Bait to be maybe on the lower end of the scoreboard, just considering the operators that they played, but they played their operators to an absolute T. Just having the game sense to know exactly what positions the Visionary members are going to be holding has been really their biggest asset in terms of how they've been able to push into bomb sites so late. So yeah, good on Jewel and Bait to obviously have their guns blazing, but it really comes down to just the solid play that they're getting off of their information game and just reading situations to an absolute T. I think the VOD review is definitely one of the biggest factors here. Obviously being able to talk to each other, but also your coach. They're getting a lot of insights as to what Visionary is doing, and they've been able to predict them every step of the way, excuse me.
They deal with the initial Goyo Shield, the Vulcan destroyed, and to Cafe here means Panic has to relocate himself, play a different angle, because they can start building up those lines of sight. Where Panic is now, he can actually shut down if any Selmas start to open up daycare at the moment, but you can see the multiple angles, multiple aggressive positions that are being contested and fought over here at the moment. Unfortunately, I think that impact coming out of the lifeline of Casper just fell a bit short. The Vulcan shield didn't quite hit it the way he wanted to, so it's another shield. I don't even know if it is a Vulcan. Yeah, no, deployable. But it took them a little bit longer to get there. They finally found it. Now they can start pressuring into the bomb site. Panic has such a great angle though from the top yellow. Casper, he's going to pull himself back, give a bit of positional advantage. The ground that has already been gained here by first attempt is not a position that you should be giving up if you're on the defense.
With only 50 seconds remaining here, it's a very solid kill that Abadu was able to get onto Casper and again onto Bloomins, but the refrag does come out here from Bait, and again, it's coming down to Jewel, Bait, and PK, but Bait, unfortunately, he does get down here, and he's not long to last either because Slasher's gun is blazing as well. He's able to get the kill onto Jewel, and it's up to PK alone in a very bad situation, and Visionary able to pull one back in these rounds, looking very close here, but Visionary, again, just able to recapture some of that momentum that they've been giving up so far. Very nice shot there as well.
Now with that, we're 1-1 on the Bunk Daycare bomb site, which is tenuous. We're going to be heading down to Throne Armory, which they won on the clock. So I think more than anything, it came down to their positioning, came down to those early frags, which denied that push coming in. PK, yeah, he just wants to go off. He just wants to find the big kills. Unfortunately, has been stalled out. Now, this round is going to be huge. If somehow first attempt are able to find a fourth, I'm not saying that it's out of the realms of possibility, but attacking this bomb site didn't go overly well for them last time. If they can find a round win here, it just puts them that much closer to winning not only their first map, but their first series of SCS. And with the way things are going, it's really a toss-up. It's a coin toss at the end of the day as to how these rounds play out. Sometimes it's first attempt who just come in, yes, admittedly, more often than not in a 3v5 situation, and Jewel and Bait just go absolutely wild and find all the frags they need to. Or whether it's Visionary, they play their angles well, they play the flank very well, and they get those kills and shut it down. So this half, the score, it's anyone's at the moment.
I mean, the rounds have been a lot more even than you think. Obviously, we see the 3-3 scoreline potentially here if first attempt isn't able to take this round here, but it has been off some very, very strong gunplay, as we've mentioned, from Jewel and Bait. You know, again, they are the supporter operators and they just read the end of rounds very well here. So, yeah, just playing those long angles, really using your gun at its most advantageous positions here. Again, you don't really want to find yourself in those 3v5 situations. You would rather have all of your members available for an execute, just able to watch over you planting a bomb and whatnot. But again, first attempt have been very skillful in terms of just reading the mid round. It's really up to Visionary to sort of shut that down and say, hey, we're not going to give you anything. You can't force your way into these angles because we're going to win our gunfights as well, because we've hailed the gunplay of Visionary here, and I think last round was evident in that they were really just playing their angles, and first attempt had no answer.
Yeah, well, coming into this round, final round of the half, first minute on drone patrol. Look at that information. Panic once again. He's going to be the aggressor over towards Cash here. Last time it was on Ella. Last time he did huge work in enabling that round to go to Visionary. This time he's on Mozzie. More of that information denial. They've put some tools in. They've used some already. That Nitro, already committed by Jimmy Buckets on the Kaid. PK's there. They've got 2 in workshop at the moment. They can go for that execute. Nitro cell number 2 comes out for Badger. Tag PK, but still Bandit trick coming out. And they are just going to fake it around. Try and play Bandit trick. Things up this time round. He gun for Panic up in Cash. From there, he's already pushed into Dragon. They've got a huge amount of positional advantage. They're just trying to deal with Badger here. He's on Bandit trick. Successful? No. He's been absolutely deterred here. They all open. And they have an avenue. They have the ability to close out some of those angles behind the drone. And now it's Visionary playing on the back foot, trying to desperately defend.
I mean, we've talked about how strong Panic R6's gun has been throughout the course of this matchup here, and first attempt have opened up another avenue into the site, and Jewel taking advantage of that situation as he's able to get the frag onto Slasher, and they look poised to get this bomb down, especially with Casper, but he has been a fragger as of late, finding another one onto Badger, and they're just trying to get that extra information to make sure that nothing goes unchecked, but they are in position to get this bomb down. The Z-pings are coming out. The peek out comes out here from Abadu, who gets almost 3, but Bait able to shut it down in the end here, and it's going to be up to Jimmy Buckets alone here. He doesn't have position to deny the plant in any sort of fashion, though, and really all first attempt has to do is watch these long angles here. Jimmy is going to try and make his way through the split. It's unfortunately not going to get shut down pretty easily, and first attempt, all the momentum in the world, 4-2.
Casper just opened things up wide there. Every single round going the way of off of a plant being put down. This is exactly what they're looking for. I can only imagine what Stokes is yelling in the background in Discord, watching them play. This is the culmination of a lot of hard work that is bearing fruit right now. It's taken them a while, but they are here. They are threatening an entire series win, their first of the series or season, and probably one of the biggest upsets in the grand scheme of things, Toast. We head now into the second half. Defense for first attempt, thrown armory. So back-to-back appearances here, but with only 3 rounds separating first attempt from their first series win. You've got to wonder, do Visionary have what it takes to claw it back mentally and actually compete?
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Visionary has been shut down in the mental game, just not able to read the mid-round as well as first attempt have been able to. But Visionary, when they do get the situation in their favor, have been ever so powerful. And as you mentioned, look at the round history. Every single round win off of first attempt has been off of a bomb plant, so they know how to get this execution game down. It's just up to Visionary to really sort of prevent that gameplay. But after the split, the roles are going to be switched, and first attempt here looking very strong. And if Jewel and Bait can continue their sort of tear throughout the map, I think that first attempt, you mentioned, they're going to be able to take this first series. It's going to take a lot of gunplay from Visionary and a lot of aggression from them just to really pull themselves back. And the attacking half is the weaker half, as we've established.
Coming into this one, it's interesting looking across the board. At the moment, PK has yet to find a frag, and Blumen's he's far from the top of the board, which is last map. It's Bait, in fact, heading up the charge here. This time round, he's going to be playing on the Legion. Be looking to try and slow down that play as they are going to be on the execute up on the roof, opening the hatches for that information. You can see the verticality of the hold coming out here for first attempt. They want to deny the pressure from this visionary roster as Panic. He's going to be spread. He's got Jimmy on the back side of him, but you look at this aggressive play, this aggressive positioning. If Panic can find an opening here, this could definitely give them that avenue to get a three rounds on the board. Jimmy goes to the scan. He's found Jaeger, but Blumen's open. That's exactly how you want, but the refrag comes. But losing a Thatcher early, that's going to be brutal.
Yeah, Thatcher is definitely not the operator that you want to lose in an opening engagement. Granted, you do get Casper off the board, and he's been strong as of late, and Blumens is going to fall as well. That's the Mozzie off the board. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be capturing any more drones with those Mozzie pests, but you still have your anchors who have been some of the strongest gunners here from the side of first attempt here. Visionary just looking to sort of establish any control of the site. Obviously, they've established the vertical control, but I'm not sure if the destruction has been that impactful. What is impactful is Jewel getting the kill onto Abadu. That's the ace to fall, and yeah, first attempt just establishing these sort of angles, and Visionary just looking for answers here. The diffuser is down in a very precarious position as well.
They've got no avenues in except for those choke points or through Barrel's wall. They are going to have to force something here, and with that information available to the defenders, they can pretty quickly figure out that the diffuser is not in a great spot. PK, he's got the older bait running the T5 in duel. The man, he's found some decent impact so far on this map. He sees the diffuser's picked up. He's going to be able to find the backside of Slasher. If he can find that frag, it's definitely going to make it that much harder, but they can lock down these angles. There's literally only like 3 avenues into the bomb site with Jewel connecting. He has the help of the T5 and shuts it down. First attempt, 2 rounds away from winning their first series of SCS right now. And if you're a Visionary fan, if you're one of the players, you would be shaking in your boots.
Shaking your boots, you're a little shook as to what's going on right now. PK celebrating the fact that he got a frag. Well done to PK, but more importantly, well done to first attempt. They're doing a lot of work right now. Let's give them all the props in the world. And from Visionary, your theme park, frankly, is looking a little bit unpracticed in terms of just how the mid round is going to come out. Visionary have lacked in terms of the rotations, and they're really just forcing their way into the fatal funnels, as we love to call them. And the first attempt is reading into situations perfectly. And again, it comes down to the hard work that they've put in behind the scenes. And for all of you sort of aspiring T3, T2 players, watch your VODs. You're going to read a lot of what your opponents are going to do, and you're going to become a much better player as a result.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be done at the end of the day to continue that road towards improvement, continue the march towards victory. And it looks like first attempt, they really have been putting in the legwork. They coming online here, they've taken some huge rounds away, denied Visionary, who the top contenders, I suppose, at the end of the day. And with this, they are, like I said, just that much closer to getting themselves some serious points on the board. They denied overtime in map number 1, so they've got, can they secure themselves the full 6 here? Deny overtime at every step, and with PK finally getting on the board, that's a good start. Got the Nitro cells, they've got a lot of pressure, a lot of positional advantage they can play around. It's gonna largely be on whether or not Visionary can deny losing out in these opening gunfights. Once again, Panic and Badger, the players to go down in opening gunfights, have gone the way of first attempt. It just, I couldn't honestly break it down to one thing that is costing Visionary these rounds, other than the fact that first attempt are firing on all cylinders.
They're firing on all cylinders, and it's really coming down to their support / anchor operator play. Jewel and Bait playing that support operator to a T throughout the attacking half, and now we see them on the more support-oriented defenders. Obviously, the Mute with the Nitro cells, as well as Warden with his sunglasses there, able to watch the long angles, and Panic with a very nice frag grenade through the floor is able to pick off Blumens, unfortunately for them. And first attempt, just have a couple more angles to watch their way. And Blumens, yeah, that's painful. I'm sure you weren't expecting to get kaboomed from the ground.
I mean, what's even worse is that it's a Jaeger that got killed. That's just insult to injury at the end of the day. And with that, Visionary, they've taken one big frag off the board early. They can look to start transitioning that into the positional advantage and then gear themselves up for that inevitable execute. But Slash has been spotted in showers. He's being tagged up. It's Jewel on the Warden to contest. And at 1.5 times, it's going to do a lot of work. And all it takes in Rainbow Six Siege is a headshot. There's kill. Actually, no, sorry, not the yellow. He swings to the player on yellow, and from there they can start to move up inch by inch, meter by meter, depending on where you are. And this is looking a bit rough for first attempt. They got the last one quite clutch situation. All players anchored on the bomb spot now. Bait is still there. Can he do it yet again? With a minute left on the clock, it's only going to be down to the players to decide how this ends.
They have done their homework in terms of mid to late round situations here, and 45 seconds remain. The Sophia Slasher is going to fall off a very nice headshot off of Bait. And Casper in a very good situation as well here. All of the angles for each other are being covered off. They've established a bunch of crossfires onto potential entries points. And first attempt are still in very good position to win this round, especially after getting the kill on the Badger. But unfortunately, it might be a little bit more difficult as Abadu able to get PK. And Abadu is actually the diffuser holder as well. But Bait with a crucial gunfight win. And it's going to take a lot of gunplay here from Visionary to sort of eliminate Bait from his position here, and Abadu is very worse for wear, so Jimmy Buckets is going to have to help in terms of that fragging department, and all it takes is a peek out here to deny that plant. Jimmy Buckets is going to fall, and Abadu is going to fall as well. First attempt are on the precipice of taking their first series in SCS.
This is absolutely wild coming out here. The patience, the determination, the sheer grit being shown by first attempt to push not only, just an opponent to this point, but Visionary of all teams. 7-5 nap number one. They're gearing up for a 7-2 potentially. There is room for a comeback, but as we head to initiation office, switched out for awarded potential for that 6 pick to come in, but the momentum well and truly there. 3 rounds back to back. For the first time in a good long while, it hasn't been on them to get the defuse. But this is looking brutal. Visionary, they looked like one of the top contenders for this week to happen. This is going to shake them. This break that momentum. And, okay, BK has officially decided that oh my lord. And speaking of Bait, M870 for the Bandit coming out here. That is going to be ruthless. It's a great shotgun in the tight angles. As good as the M590 is, the M870 even more so. You don't even have to aim down sights. Anyone dumb enough to peek a doorway which you're holding, you are going to be scared.
I don't want to talk bad about the M590, but it almost seems as if this M870 has a little bit more consistency in terms of its hits registration as well. I'm not sure exactly how, how the sort of shotgun play works, but I just find myself getting more kills whenever I decide to run that M870. But it's going to be interesting to see what sort of role it takes in a very competitive matchup, because obviously you don't want to start giving away the rounds now. You still need to lock in this matchup right now and escape with the points, because right now your round differential is through the roof. Please, first attempt, just take whatever you have planned for Bait. It's got to work out for you. But Visionary, read into it, take the long angles, take these long gunfights, and Bloomin's unfortunately shutting down one of the ACOGs. That's panic first.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where you've got the momentum. You could smell the blood in the water from this point on. They're so hyped up. They're so on form right now. This is, I think, only going to compound how quickly this round spirals out of control for Visionary. Slasher at least will get the refrag onto Bloomin's. Jaeger down. It means that of the 2 German operators left, one of them is not going to be as effective at long range. But Beatty's sitting here in office. He's got Jewel with him. He's waiting for that push to come. He's going to be Bandit tricking on the cash wall. There's only so many tools to try and get it open. In fact, it's just Abadu. He's only got the one Selma left. They're looking for the range sprays in, and Bait, he's going to be tagged. He swings into oh, that was a close situation. He got the M870. I don't even think that Slasher knows how close he was to real disaster there. And now that he is in that position, he can look to threaten. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. Find the frag regardless. He doesn't realize there's someone swinging on him. Jewel gets tagged up in the face by the M76. And PK, he's going to be one of the 2 players left here for first attempt. He gets one back, and even Jimmy's not sure what just happened off the back of that. And in a 2v3 situation, they've clutched up from worse with Casper and PK with 1:15 left on the clock. They have to pull something huge out of the bag.
The bag of tricks has looked infinite here from first attempt, but this has looked like the first round where really Visionary have established any definitive control over the site. And PK, oh, what a shot there onto Slasher, and the man count is now even. And Casper, I think he has some information to play off with that Nitro, but no kaboom just yet. PK just trying to spray through the walls and put some pressure onto A. Casper in good position to try and help out the retake just a little bit. Abadu is going to be looking to try and get this bomb down, but Badger is taking a lot of fire from PK. And first attempt could be on the precipice of winning here, but the peaks come out. Badger is going to fall. It's going to take one more frag. They get it! First attempt, 7-2 on Theme Park. And this first attempt was dominant in this matchup.
That's insane considering it took an entire half for PK to get a frag, and then he clutches up on it was a quad kill at the end, I think. Like, that is just stepping up every single chance they had. 7-2 to take out map number 2. That is definitely a big statement being made. Unfortunately, Bait couldn't get any kills with that M870, which would have been absolutely, I would have been absolutely ecstatic. But Nash, welcome back. What a series being made here by first attempt.
Wow. Okay, first attempt. You are awake, my friend. They've awoken the dragon. Stokes is, breathing fire into this team right now. I mean, probably after 3 weeks, he's like, all right, guys, let's sit down and have an adult talk. And, they got it done. It worked. Whatever they've been doing, phenomenal job from them. I'm so excited to see where they go on from here. But, I mean, Visionary, they tried really hard on that. I'm not going to lie. Theme Park was a little less close. Don't get me wrong, but still, they put up a good fight. They were getting some frags. They had some really nice angles. Just came down to gunfights, I think. Honestly, on that one, first attempt just had the better gun skill. So,
yeah, look, I'll be honest. That's the 5th time I've cast Theme Park in the last week, and
oh my god,
four of those appearances were in the Oceanic Nationals relegations qualifiers. One of the teams had a back-to-back best of 3s where it was the decider. So, look, I'm not upset to see the back of it coming after that, but what a show it was. First attempt, really, like, considering the way things were going round after round, they'd lose 2 players off the bat, and then from there, at a 3v5 situation, they'd just clutch the living hell out of the round. These guys are just... This is not the same team we saw coming into this competition.
Oh, yeah, not at all. I mean, previous weeks have shown, they were going to be one of the teams that was in the bottom 6, but I think now they have a potential for a playoff run. What about you, Toast? I haven't heard you yet.
I mean, just like my Cam, this effort came from the absolute nether regions. I have no idea where this sort of first attempt came out from, but I'm glad to see it because that just throws another spanner in the works in terms of just the standings of SCS. But we saw just some very good sort of pro level gameplay, if I'm going to be completely honest here, from first attempt, because those mid-round reads were just, they were done to an absolute T, and that was some very good siege that we saw out of first attempt.
Oh, 100%. I know for sure. Oh my God, Toast, your Cam yet again. This is becoming the new SCS meme. Is we might have to make a Santos emote, except if you enter the dark regions. Like, but I know for sure we've got Bait up in here ready to go with his interview. The man who went 16 kills on Theme Park. What an impressive showing. How you doing, Bait?
I'm doing good, man.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. Your first 2 official maps in SCS. That brings you guys to a total of 8 points. You're catapulted quite far up in the standings. So what do you have to say, honestly, to your fans out there? I'm going to start with that question, and then Blue and Toast can ask theirs. But
all I want to say is I appreciate all the support. I know we haven't really been showing up lately, but we made some internal role changes, and it seemed to work out today. So we're ready to keep it rolling.
Awesome, man. Well, Blue, I'll throw it over to you first, then we'll hear from Toast if he's got anything.
Look, boy, did it what. You guys just came into that entire series, blew it out of the water. I mean, what's going through your heads? You're versing up against Visionary, you come into this Playday. What sort of prep went into it for you guys?
We did VOD review them an extensive amount. And like I said too, we recently just switched roles where I'm playing the hard breach now, so I can IGL better instead of on that flex role. So it's just allowed us overall to be more fluid on our attacks. And also the prep we went into prepping them allowed us to like do certain attacks that work versus them.
Yeah. Now look, I've only got one more question before I hand it off to my co-caster. The final round, the bandit play with the M870 unfortunately didn't pay off. Could we potentially see it out again in coming weeks?
Oh, of course. I've been running that in scrims, trying to bandit trick the wall and then get aggressive on bathroom. I just unfortunately forgot about the drone hole right there. So,
Oh no.
Unfortunate. Well, Toast, take it away. You've got some great questions, I have no doubt.
I mean, let's talk about these mid-round adjustments. You know, you mentioned the fact that you've been able to IGL better. What has really been the key in terms of your reads in mid-round? Because as we saw in Theme Park, just your ability to adjust to what the defense is holding against you, those were absolutely crucial. So I'd like to get your sort of take on that.
yeah, so when I played the flex role is really hard because it's a lot of solo playing, so I'm not really with the push as much. But switching onto the hard breach, I was able to like read all the intel from my teammates, and of course they were doing a great job of feeding me intel today, and it allowed me to make the reads based on what they were setting in the site. Also, too, not all of the plays we made on attack were my IGLing. It was also some great solo plays of my teammates reading into the defense and making the play, like Blumen's on Sledge coming from Cafe side that one round. I didn't even tell him to do that. That was all him. So.
Yeah.
I mean, Rajel, it's all yours.
Okay, yeah, it was definitely paying off for you guys. I mean, everything you were doing was working out. Like you mentioned too, how being with the team is so beneficial for being an IGL. I think that's why you see sometimes even the entry fraggers going on, because they have to have the backup of their team with the droning and things like that. So it's really, you know, a good look so far, swapping up those positions. I think it's working out for you. I'm excited to see how we go on from here on out. But with that being said, I don't have a whole lot more bait. Anything you want to say last minute to your opponents, anything like that before we head out?
Just watch out for first attempt, man. You're coming.
All right, well, they are on the way. I mean, they came today for sure, but we will see exactly how things go from here on out, and I'm looking forward to it. So, Blue, Toast, it's been an honor, my friends. Toast, I hope your cam honestly keeps doing that for the rest of the season. I think it would be funny. You know what I mean? It's just the meme.
Y'all don't want to look at my face anyway. Like, come on, you just want to see me get
Santos,
huge.
what are you talking about, dog? You are I'm not even gonna say it. You know, I'm not even gonna say it on stream. You're a good man. Okay, there we go. But
You know
Emerald,
why
I hope
it
you're not
happens
watching
though?
right now.
It's because Santos is a Nook main, and that's the whole reason.
I'm eternal. I'm not here right now.
Oh, I just thought of the ultimate meme, honestly. You know, you have like on the top panel, it's like a picture of some defender, like, hey, do they have a knock? And, then, and it's like, yeah. I just picture a Toast. I killed him. Let's go. Somebody laughed at my joke. Oh my god, I'm not terrible anymore. All right. I think I even got Blue to chuckle on that. That's a record for me.
Yeah, you did. I'll give you that one. Fair play. Fair play.
All right, perfect. Well, oh my god. Okay, that's pretty much it for me though, guys. I don't really have a whole lot else for you. So with that being said, we are going to be back yet again tomorrow. First game is going to be 303 versus Lycus Empire, and then Emergence versus Hostile Actions. All that's coming up tomorrow. It's starting about 5:30 Eastern time. And don't forget the giveaway. Go on Twitter. Don't forget the giveaway. It is awesome. You get a flag and a sticker from that. So with that being said, guys, on behalf of everyone at SCS, my name's Rigel, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks.